SchmutzCast number 10. Yeah. Good start. This podcast is brought to you by Anchor, the best place to publish your podcast. You can get everything all in one place. Love Anchor. Great service. Great service.
Immaculate service.
Quite.
Great. It's good.
Anchor,
Very
we love
good.
you.
It's not from China.
I actually saw an ad for Anchor the other day and something else. I don't remember what I was like. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like,
We use that.
I was like, that sounds familiar.
Is this the SchmutzCast I'm about to watch?
This is the SchmutzCast.
Toasty.
So, how have you all been? Last time I saw John, last time we saw him on the podcast was a couple weeks ago?
I think it was 2
Not the
weeks.
last one, but the one before I was on.
Oh, yeah, that sounds right.
But last week it was me, you, and Brandon, and we apologize for the shitty audio. We think the mic wasn't plugged in the entire time. We tried to fix it, ended up adding the white noise, so sorry about that one. It won't be like that every time, I promise. Especially on episode 10.
Learning process.
Hell yeah, episode 10. We're 10 episodes in. That's, 4 weeks
10
in a
weeks.
month. That's almost 2.5 months. It's a pretty big deal, I feel like. I even got an email from Anchor, the service that I just talked about that we published through, and they said, congratulations and all that, and then sent, some links to push out the podcast to more people or whatever, that apparently once you do so many episodes and have so many views, you can push it out, whatever. But I thought that was pretty cool. They sent, a personalized thing for SchmutzCast. I thought that was pretty cool.
Well, it's baffling that we actually stuck to it and haven't missed a single week.
And it's been close to missing a week multiple times.
Very true.
But we stuck through. Jordan has been on every single one.
I have not missed it once.
Not missed it.
I was late to the one.
You were late to one,
That was
but
the
you have
makeup for
not
the Lost
missed
Sports special. But I was technically there for the Lost Sports special.
Yeah, the Lost Sports special will go on in infamy as one of my favorite episodes that we've ever done. And it pisses me off.
The two-man pod.
It was so damn good. I felt so good after it, and then my heart sank when it corrupted.
And it's gone.
And it's gone.
And it's gone.
So on Pick'ems this week, what are our standings? We haven't talked about standings recently.
Right now, I'm in the lead. If I remember correctly,
I think you're
I
in the lead
have
by 2.
22. I think you had 20 or 19.
Mm-hmm.
I think John had 17 and Brandon had 14. It was something like that. I could be remember the numbers wrong, but it was kind of like that sort of spread.
So we know what our punishment's going to be now. You can be prepared for it. I think I'm ready to announce it because
Are you going to announce the punishment?
The punishment will be John has an Orbeez gun that shoots full automatic, and the loser has to take their shirt off and take a full clip in the back, and we'll get it on video for all your all's enjoyments. So that's the punishment, and
It's
that's not
like a
coming
Nerf
until
gun either. It kind of it hurts.
It's got a little pinch to it.
Whenever John brought it to Brandon's release party and I was real drunk, I had them shoot me with it, and it stings a little bit. Even when I was drunk, I was oh.
It's like diet paintball.
Yeah.
It's like if you're getting a shot from a paintball from pretty far away.
Yeah,
Like
it's
you feel
a
it.
little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like if you're across like a speedball field. I wouldn't even say maybe half a speedball field.
We're probably going to be standing a good 10 feet away. So
Yeah. No, you're definitely gonna be feeling it. You're gonna be feeling it.
Yeah, it's
Ain't
probably,
no shirt on.
7-8 feet.
there's going to just whoever loses. It's not going to be me, but whoever loses.
That's what you think.
It's
Coming in from behind.
Joke's on you. It's whoever wins.
it's be covered, their entire back's just going to be all red.
Well,
Have all kinds of whelps on like that.
that'll be fun. It'll be fun to
I can't
video
wait.
that. So we'll keep y'all updated on scores. We're just doing picks off of podcasts so we don't waste your all's time. But I've been watching the Lord of the Rings movies again. I rewatched all of them. When we didn't go see Return of the King in theater, I went ahead and just watched it.
I did not watch The Return of the King yet.
In your current watch.
Like in my current watch, yeah. I've seen it many a times.
Many a times.
And part of that was because I thought that we were going to watch it together. So this is news to me that you've already watched.
I did watch it. I watched it because I
Oh.
couldn't wait. I couldn't wait any longer. It's been
John's-
so long since I saw Return of the King.
It's okay.
You
It's
can hear
okay.
the disappointment
It's
in
okay.
John's voice. He's
Well,
like, I
I've
thought
been
we were
stood
gonna
up.
watch it all together,
I've been
so I
stood up
hadn't
before.
watched
I'm a
it
big.
yet.
Well, I'm a big boy.
I gotta say, regardless, Fellowship is my favorite of the three by far. I think that's a pretty.
The first one?
Yeah.
The first one's good. I like the second one the best.
A lot of people
Twin
say
Tower.
the second one, but
I like the Battle of Helm's Deep. Like
Battle of Helm's
in
Deep
in the
is-
second one. That's
in the theater, bro, that shit give you chills.
Oh, it was
I'm
so
sure.
good.
I'm sure it was wild.
Oh my God, it
I'm
was
not even like the
insane.
biggest Lord of the Rings guy, but I'm sure it's cool as shit. In
Like
the
I don't
theater.
think even if we went and saw Return of the King in theater, nothing would have touched the Battle of Helm's Deep.
I don't know that last battle is pretty good. Not the last battle. The big battle in the Return of the King is pretty good, but I feel like it ends so abruptly.
It does.
It ends very abruptly.
Yeah,
Like once the dead army shows up, it's like, oh, you know, like
The Dead Army, I
They're OP,
understand
bro. They're
the
OP.
Yeah, exactly. I understand the lore of them, but I just think it's kind of weird. I don't know. Like when it's the Ghost Army that shows up, that like when you try to show somebody that doesn't watch Lord of the Rings, and you get them so far and like you get them to enjoy it, and then the Ghost Army shows up, then you're like I find myself trying to defend it, like, well, it's got to happen this way, you know, this is why.
I feel like honestly, it could have, you know, like I'm not trying to like fix any of like Tolkien's or like the way that the movies were portrayed. I'm not trying to fix that by any means. But I feel like if it would have been like in that battle, if it would have been to the point where like the side of the good was about to fall, about to be crushed, because the battle seemed pretty even at that point. Like they were taking down the elephants, but you know they were still losing a lot of people. It was pretty even at that point. Then the dead army shows up and really flips the scale. But like if it was to where like the good was about to take over, the good was about to win, and if the dead army comes in and wipes him out at that point, that would have made it a lot better, made a lot more sense. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's like the Ghost Army has basically saved them. Like they were down bad. That was right when the what do they call them, Oliphants in there, or like what is that?
Mama
The
kills.
big ass.
What?
Mama kills.
Mama kills.
That's what they call
That's
those
what they call
elephants.
them?
That's what they're called.
Oh, I
They're
didn't-
called mama kills.
Mummy kills.
Mama kills.
Mommy kill.
Mommy kills.
Mommy kill.
That's a horror movie. Mommy.
Daddy,
kill.
chill.
Daddy,
Daddy
chill.
I do think that's the thing, though. Whenever they make adaptations for books, though, there's always going to be like that one plot piece that probably had a bit more detail in it in the book, but they
I'm gonna
still wanted to put it in the
That
movie.
shit. I think I'm gonna read that shit because my buddy at work, he's got a bunch of copies of it, and he's like a huge Tolkien fan. So I'm gonna give it a shot. But obviously, you all know now that I don't have that thing in my head of picturing stuff. But like, so I don't
forgot
know
all
about
if
that.
that's why I can't fucking read like and enjoy stories.
Oh, I
But-
can't read.
It makes me
I can't
tired.
read.
I fall asleep if I try to read a book. Like whenever I'd be reading for like school and stuff, I'd be trying to read, and then I would just end up like starting to doze off and be like, all right, I'm not gonna remember any of this
Audiobooks
shit.
are okay. Like I've listened to an audiobook before, and I want to listen to the Game of Thrones audiobooks.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know, Game of Thrones lore is so cool to me, like the way they did it, or the way George R.R. Martin did it, even though he's a weirdo. But like I thought it was really good. And House of the Dragon I'm not caught up on, but Rings of Power I am caught up on, and we won't discuss it this time because John's not caught up. But
I have not seen the
I still need to start
last
it.
episode
it is
yet.
a life-changing episode.
You haven't started it?
No, I need to. I might end up starting it tomorrow.
You know, there's only 8 episodes in this first season. There's only 2 more, and then
Wow.
then the season's over.
I don't
with-
have an issue with 8 episode seasons.
With it
though.
being a really high-budget show, which
Yeah.
you can tell, it's like it feels like a long-ass movie. I mean, there's only so much they can do.
I mean, if it's less episodes for more quality production, like I think that's a fair trade.
I can deal with that as long as it's not like the Game of Thrones season 7 or season 8 route, whatever season that was.
See that, and here's the next thing though. How long do we have to wait for the next season to come
I'm
out?
hoping they do it yearly, but most shows do it yearly.
Yeah.
There's been some shows that have skipped a year, so I hope it doesn't take that route because it's so damn good, and there's so much that they can explore in that second age.
I wish that like we could get the good quality of like the time that they spend on them, but also get the scheduling of like soap operas where it's like every week.
That would be gnarly. Then I'd worry that I'd get tired of it or something. You know, like all good things need to be in moderation. Like if we had like 30 episode seasons of Rings of Power, you know, some of those episodes are gonna be boring as a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like
That's where filler episodes start coming in.
that's why I can't get into those CW superhero shows, Arrow, and I got into Arrow. I watched the first 3 seasons of that, first 2 seasons of Flash. I liked them. It's too fucking much. You're talking like 25 episodes a season. There's a lot of filler. And shows with filler I can't get into. I need shows that get to the point.
Well, see, you know what show that I don't think any other show did it as well with filler episodes?
Adventure Time.
Yes,
That's where I
but
thought you were going with that.
it's still a cartoon. It's Avatar: The Last Airbender.
They had a lot of filler.
I thought he was going to
Exactly.
go with SpongeBob.
I think, but the thing is, though, each of the filler episodes were like meaningful still to the story, and it was still like meaningful towards like building characters and building the atmosphere of that entire like world. And it was just such a good show in general. Like I remember growing up, that was my favorite show, and like still I could watch it today. And
That last 10 episodes is fucking crazy.
yeah, like the fights and everything, like they're cool.
I'm
like,
excited they're doing a Netflix TV series.
I saw that. Yeah, because Abed from Community's in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I heard about that.
I was kind of excited about that.
What else is coming out soon? There's supposed to be another show coming out soon. I don't know. Nothing is gonna like beat out Rings of Power and House of Dragon right now. Those are like ruling the roost.
Well, yeah.
I mean, you can't beat out Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings at the same time.
It's interesting that you brought up that live action Avatar: Last Airbender thing though, because they did try to do that before, and it
Garbage.
they really threw up a stinker with that one.
Wasn't it Shyamalan? M. Night Shyamalan did that movie, didn't he?
Did he? I have no idea. I
think
just
it was
remember
M.
like the
Night-
reviews
M.
were
Night
horrid.
Maybe.
I don't think I ever even saw it.
It's terrible.
I never watched
So
it,
bad.
but all the
Not
You never
so much.
watched it?
all the clips that I saw, I was like, this looks corny. Like it looked corny.
It's not even just corny. They tried to fit the entire TV series in one movie.
Oh,
Bro, it misses like the entire point of the show.
yeah.
And like it's boring and it's just dumb feeling.
I am more confident about it being now though, because I feel like it was a while ago whenever they tried to make that movie. So with them making it now
It
with
needs to be a
Netflix's budget, like the effects are going to be done well. At least I'm hoping that they will be. I more hope that they will be, because I remember a big thing was like the effects were really bad with the bending and stuff like that.
Yeah, with a show like that, it's kind of the same thing with like a lot of different animes. Like to make them live action, you have to make the action portions very good. Because like they also tried to make a Dragon Ball Z live action movie in America.
That'd be rough.
It was so damn bad. It was so damn bad.
I can only imagine how bad that shit
It was. I would watch the Avatar movie 10 times over than the fucking Dragon Ball Z live action movie. It was so fucking bad.
Oh god.
The main character wasn't even Goku.
Was it fucking Krillin? Like
It was some random fucking American dude.
it wasn't even like an actual
No,
character
it wasn't
from the show.
It wasn't an interpretation of the show. It was a whole new fucking thing. It was bad.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
One thing I have been watching, I picked this up. I haven't watched it with Megan because Megan gets freaked out by this kind of stuff. But the Jeffrey Dahmer biopic. This is a very polarizing biopic that just came
I've seen a lot of shit about that.
There's memes, there's hate, there's love. This thing is fucking crazy. Like, I watched it. I'm 3 episodes in now. I haven't watched the whole thing. But it makes me very uncomfortable. Like, there's no gore in it. And it's not an uncomfortable, like, they shouldn't have made this, like, it's bad, like, they did the right thing. It's supposed to make you feel uncomfortable.
Like,
it's Jeffrey fucking Dahmer.
The story
Yeah.
is the uncomfortable.
The man murdered people and ate them. Like,
Yeah.
the story's gonna make you feel uncomfortable if they do it right, and they did. Like, it is one that like makes your skin crawl, and you don't see any gore in any of the episodes I've seen. You don't really see any. You don't see him like cutting them up and shit. Like, it's just how he approached them. Like, how the whole scenario went down before the killing happened, that's what makes you feel uncomfortable. And there's a lot of people online making memes about it, like, because obviously it gives a story of his life and why he kind of went crazy. I think he obviously had mental health issues, but there's a lot of things, like his dad being, and like, he was always made fun of because he was gay. His dad didn't accept him because he was gay. Like, there's a lot of different things that made him, like, go crazy. And a lot of people are seeing that as, like, Netflix is, like, being, what's the word? Forgiving, I guess, of him.
Kind of sympathetic.
Sympathetic. And a lot of people are being sympathetic for Jeffrey Dahmer because of this biopic, and I think that's the wrong way to go about it.
It is.
Because no matter how good Evan Peters does the role, which...
Evan Peters is the one that plays it?
He plays Jeffrey Dahmer.
So is it not like a docu-series? Is it like an actual show?
It's a reenactment. It's a biopic.
Oh, okay.
I thought it
You know
was
how
like,
they did like the Queen one, Freddie Mercury and all that? It's kind of like that.
I thought this was like that other serial killer show. I can't think of
The
it.
Gacy tapes?
Ted Bundy?
Ted Bundy.
The John Wayne Gacy tapes?
Well, that one, plus there's another one, like they also made like
No,
an
it's not like
adaptation
them like sitting down with people that were involved in the case and talking about it. No, it's like legit.
Tiger
it's
King?
reenacted.
Yeah, Tiger King.
I love Tiger
No,
King.
see, yeah, I
I'm
thought
all
it was
about
more of a
Tiger King.
documentary, not an actual like reenactment
No, it's a
type
biopic.
thing. Oh,
it's like
shit.
it's
okay.
literally like reenacting his life. The entire thing. There's no like documentary portions of it. It's literally like you're watching a normal TV show. And Evan Peters is Jeffrey Dahmer.
Well, see, one of the big things that I saw, like in terms of like the controversial parts of that show, was whenever that one woman who was like a sister of one of the, I think she was like a sister or like a mom of one of the victims, and she went to the stand and
Yeah.
they reenacted that.
They did it so good.
I saw a lot of people get pissed about that. It was like their family.
Oh, their family's mad about it.
Yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yeah.
I respect that.
I feel like that could have been one of the things that they probably could have left out.
Well,
but,
not
like,
even that. If you're going to put it in there, ask. You know, ask. You should ask.
Very true.
And if you are going to reenact them, pay them.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, no matter what
that's like
portion
his
they're
name,
in.
his name and likeness.
Yes.
So it's like
it's like they're doing the story true from what I see and what I've researched, because I knew a lot about the Jeffrey Dahmer story before this biopic. But
when was it supposed to be?
what?
Like whenever it actually happened. When
It's in
was
the
it?
70s.
It was in the 70s.
And it's it'll make you uncomfortable to watch. But that I gotta give Evan Peters his due. It's all because of him, of how good he played the role.
I mean, he carried American Horror Story. He was the reason why I watched that show.
I
He
agree.
was such a good
I agree.
fucking actor. I didn't watch all the seasons of it, but like,
The seasons that I did
Yeah.
watch, he carried the fuck out of it.
yeah.
I only watched a couple episodes of American Horror Story, but
I
I
thought
feel like it was something that I would get into.
I think you'd
No,
like it.
It's a little corny. at
It's
times.
hit or miss season to season because each season's different.
It's all different stories.
The
with
first season's
same
really
actors.
good. The first season's really good. Second season's really good.
What's the Carnival season?
4.
That one was my favorite.
I didn't watch that one.
That one was my favorite because it was like really fucking weird.
It was too weird for me.
I loved it.
I watched like the first couple episodes and I was like, this
loved
is so
it.
strange.
That show, it's a little corny. I think it's got really corny elements. To
I thought
it.
the
Would it
Colt
be-
one was interesting though.
The Colt one was good.
Yeah, that's like 7.
I
Would
think
it
so.
would it be one that would you say I should watch it or should not even bother?
Should.
I'll
I
watch
think
it with
should.
you.
I think you should.
Is it still on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix, I think.
I thought it was a Netflix. No, it was
No,
on
no.
TV for a
It's on
while.
FX.
Yeah.
It was an FX show.
No, yeah. If you want to watch it, you can come over later and watch it, dude. Like I'm down to watch it again, especially the first and second season. Those are 2 really good
Very
fucking
good
shows.
shows.
Yeah.
Or we could watch it on the projector.
Or we can watch it on projector. I mean, they're not. It says American Horror Story, but it's like it's more.
It's creepy. It's just more creepy than like,
Yeah.
scary. It's weird. The whole thing is just weird.
Especially
See,
like the
I'd be
Colt
someone.
one.
I'm someone who I like the scary. I like
scary, but I also really like weird at times. Like I like really weird horror movies, like Midsummer. Like I've talked about that on the podcast. That's one that I really want to watch with you guys because it's not really a horror movie in genre. It doesn't fit the genre of horror, but like it's freaky. Like it's weird because like that cults like that exist and like
That's what I really like is whenever like horror movies do like things that like could actually happen or did actually happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Midsummer plus Florence Pugh, celebrity crush.
Is that one of the actors in Midsummer?
Actress. Yeah, she's the main actress.
Oh, okay.
She's my celebrity crush. She's my hall pass. Megan has hall passes. I've got hall passes. One of them.
Megan, don't watch this.
But Megan thinks that Florence Pugh is ugly. I do
Does
not.
she?
I do not think she's ugly. I think she's a very good looking.
Pull her up.
Pull her up. You want to see her? All right, I'll pull it up for
Or
the.
do you have,
the
yeah, you
cast
got your
screen.
keyboard up here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Let's see. Oh, don't spoil our topics.
We could segue into that after we're done talking about this, though.
One of her major roles is Midsummer. Like, that's her biggest role.
She looks familiar.
I
Is
think she just started dating Jason Sudeikis because
She was in
well,
something else.
That
What
wouldn't
was
make
it?
her. That wouldn't make me recognize her though.
she was in Black Widow.
I didn't watch Black Widow.
Me either.
Lady Macbeth I've never seen. But Midsummer's the only movie I've ever seen her in. Actually, I saw her in Black Widow, but and she was in the Hawkeye show as the same character. But yeah,
I don't know
celebrity
what I
crush,
recognize her from.
Florence Pugh, gotta love her. But yeah, I'd like to watch Midsummer with you all one time because A24 films are they're like next level.
Oh, it's one of those.
A24. A24 is like it's weird stuff, but it's not like crazy weird.
Was that the same studios that made that really popular one there for a minute, where it was like the little girl that got her head knocked off and
Really popular, head knocked off.
then there was like a demon that possessed a guy and he kept slapping his head down on the table.
Oh no, that's
I was thinking that was A24.
That's is that A24? I
It
think.
was like really popular like 6 months ago. Like I
Are
can't.
you sure it's not? Is that Smile? Is that the one that just came out?
No. Fucking
The
shit.
dude was hitting his head on the table. I feel like I remember seeing that. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
but
it'll come to me.
Speaking
Smile?
of like some of those Netflix stuff, kind of like the Jeffrey Dahmers. Did you all ever watch Evil Genius?
I've seen it recommended.
We never did finish it. We didn't watch the last episode.
Yeah, because our boss was telling us about it. Yeah.
Yeah, our boss when we worked at the bank was telling us about this this Netflix docuseries that he was watching called Evil Genius, and it was really unsettling to Jordan and I because we worked at a bank and it was about a bank heist, not really a heist, just a bank robbery that really just went so much deeper than just a bank robbery.
See, I don't get why people rob banks anymore because
Yeah.
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it, and you're gonna get caught. You're going to
And,
get
like,
caught. You are
banks-
not going to
banks
get away
share
with it.
security footage if they get robbed.
Well,
Like,
you know
it's
what the biggest heist in U.S. history that never was solved? Have you all heard of that? D.B. Cooper.
oh, you know the only reason why I know anything about that is because the movie Without a Paddle.
That's the only reason you know about
Yeah,
D.B. Cooper.
yeah.
So D.B. Cooper. Have you heard of D.B. Cooper?
No.
So D.B. Cooper is there was a passenger plane that took off in the 70s and was going from Seattle to Portland, I think. And there was a guy in the back that had a suitcase, and he gave a note to the stewardess. Or the stewardess. Is it a stewardess? The
Flight attendant?
flight attendant.
I think it's the same basically.
Stewardess?
But,
Okay,
you know.
whatever. Gives her a note and says, "There's a bomb in my suitcase. Go tell the pilots my demands and have them let them know to have the police bring a bag of $200,000 to the landing strip and to meet one of the flight attendants outside with it." So they flew around for a while. And he said he wanted $200,000 and 4 parachutes. And they land, and they bring the money. All the passengers get off. I've been watching this documentary about it. It's fucking crazy. The people that were on the plane didn't know what was happening until they got off. They didn't know any of that shit was
Well, they
happening.
just thought it was like an emergency landing
Yeah.
or something. That's why they're getting
Yeah,
off in the
yeah.
runway.
They had no idea until they got off
Yeah.
the plane that happened.
Well, I've been on a plane where I've been at an airport in Florida where you get off on the runway, you walk down steps, literally like.
What was it, one of those ones
onto
down in the Keys though? Was it like a smaller one?
No, it was.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
it was going to. It was close to Orlando because we were going to Disney.
Really?
It was whenever we went for my 21st.
I mean, like I haven't flown enough where I can really say that I know that well, but I figured that they would only do that under like very specific circumstances. I figured they always prefer people to have that.
Would be a very specific
Well,
one to
yeah,
do it on.
yeah.
I think it kind of just depends on the airport and like how it's like architecturally set up. Because if the door is down here, then you can't really pull up a plane and walk in a tunnel.
Well,
Well, they didn't. None of the people knew on the plane that was happening. So then they took off, and he had the money, and he had 4 parachutes, and they figured the reason he did 4 parachutes is because if he only put 1, they're gonna dummy the parachute. They're gonna make it to where it doesn't work. But if he does 4, it makes him think that he's taking hostages. So they're not gonna dummy the parachutes.
oh,
So it was pretty fucking smart of them.
Yeah.
And he has them go over this area in the mountains up in the Pacific Northwest, and he has the flight attendant go to the front to tell the pilot something. She comes back and he's gone, and the door in the back's open. They felt the pressure change, so she went and checked. He was gone. They never found him. The only thing they know, the reason, and this is the crazy thing, I thought D.B. Cooper stood for something, but he just signed his paperwork to get on the plane, because this was pre 9/11, so you kind of just like threw the money on the table and just got on the plane.
Yeah.
He wrote his name as Dan Cooper, and somebody misread it as D.B. Cooper, and it's been living in infamy forever as D.B. Cooper, even though he wrote down Dan Cooper. He never wrote down D.B. Cooper, but now his name is forever D.B. Cooper. And nobody has ever found who it is. They say recently, and in the past 6 months, they say they think they figured out who it was, and he's been dead for like 7 years.
Oh, I think I saw something about that on Twitter.
Yeah,
a little
but
bit back.
I don't know how much I believe that, because the evidence that they have doesn't seem very solid.
Well, I mean, how can you prove it too?
It's
like,
never been solved. He just disappeared with 200 grand. Fucking insane. Like, how do you get away with that?
I am curious how often people will actually go out to the Pacific Northwest, like how they do in Without a Paddle, like go look for it almost. like oh, I bet nobody's checked it.
Well, a bunch of the money washed up on shore on the ocean. That it was only like $600 or something like that, but it was a decent amount of money. But
bills.
they proved that money was from the bag that they gave D.B. Cooper. So he could be fucking dead. Like, he may not have survived, but they never found his body.
Right.
And he did not fly over the ocean, so I don't know how that money got there. But
well, the thing is with the Pacific Northwest, that forest out there is like crazy thick and like so much shit. Like,
they went looking after days of like, or after the next coming days. They looked in that woods to see if he was like hanging in a tree somewhere, but they scoured that woods for weeks, never found him, and he is just disappeared. D.B. Cooper, a man of the people.
That's wild.
The fact, and I commend him, and I can say that I respect that guy, because yeah, he committed a crime. He did a heist like that. He didn't kill anybody to do it, and there's no proof that there was even a bomb in there.
Just lie about it.
Just lied about it. So, like, the stewardess said he opened up the suitcase, but she said, I don't know what a bomb looks like. I mean, I suspected.
Well, yeah.
He said, he told the stewardess, he said, all I got to do is put these 2 wires together and we're all dead.
Yeah, so you see a bunch of wires and like
Literally,
stuck
if
to
you
something,
if
like,
you see a wire and a timer on there, like, you know, at this, if we're not like bomb diffusers, then we obviously like.
We have no fucking clue,
Yeah.
especially a stewardess. Like, what? Like, how is she gonna know?
yeah.
Like, so he did all of that, had no intentions of killing anyone, and well, at least it seems like, and he didn't kill anybody, and he got away with it. Like, and there's people that have like groups about like they have like T-shirts and all that shit, like DB Cooper for life, shit like that. Cause that motherfucker, he's the only person that's ever gotten away. That's the only plane hijacking case in human history since planes were made that has not been solved.
Well, plus it's just wild that it hasn't been solved, first of all, but also like he was able to run the entire heist without anybody on the plane knowing either. Like they didn't know until they got to the ground. Like, I don't know.
They interviewed some guy, and he said, I was sitting next to who I think may have been him. But he's like, I didn't pay attention to it until after we got off the plane because I didn't know what was going on. He said that the guy sitting across the aisle from him was wearing sunglasses the entire time, and in the D.B. Cooper sketches, they have him in sunglasses and without. So he thinks that he was sitting next to him and he said nothing ever seemed off. I guess the stewardess was calm about it, and like nobody fucking knew about it. And then they go to fly the plane away. He jumps out, never to be seen again. That is crazy. That is a true fucking story. Like, how the fuck did he get away with it? That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. Can you imagine being on that fucking about ready to jump? You got a bag of 200K on you, and 200K is a lot in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
it's a lot now.
Yeah. I mean, that's a house. That's what I was gonna buy the house for.
yeah, house shopping is fucking rough.
So you guys been going through that shit
right now.
Dude,
house shopping is
it's
terrible.
I decided that I'm gonna like wait like another year or so and see how the market goes.
The bubble. Everybody's saying the bubble's gonna pop, but they've said the bubble's gonna pop for the past year. So
Yep.
I'm getting out when I can. We're trying to find something. When we find something that we like, we've looked at a couple things that we could afford. And we just didn't put offers in because it's just. I have this fucking, and you all might have the same thing. I just have this feeling of something that feels homey, like it feels like home. Like there's some things about certain houses that just doesn't feel like home to me.
Right.
Oh, you get like a sense of I can see myself.
Yeah, I can feel
posting up here,
comfortable
like
here.
yeah.
Like,
If you can
I lay
picture
on the
yourself-
couch and kick back, like I feel at home.
You start picturing like this couch there, like
And there have
yeah.
been houses that we put offers in and didn't get that did feel like home. And then there's some houses that I can't pinpoint why I don't like them, but it just doesn't feel like home.
Yeah.
Like there are certain things that I didn't like about this last house that we could have gotten, but it didn't feel like home.
I mean, that's the whole thing. I mean, this is an entirely different thing, kind of. But like, my junior year of college, I lived with 3 guys from Illinois that I didn't know. I had to basically just jump from a different room, at the apartment complex, and yeah, like they were cool. Like I liked those guys a lot, but like they were already established there in that apartment. They had lived there the previous year, and I just kind of just lived there. Like outside of my room, it was just a place I was there for a while.
Yeah.
But then the next year I lived with my old buddy Alex, and that was our apartment. We actually had all of our shit everywhere, and it was more like homey for that time period.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, like I said, that's an apartment. That's not a house, and that's temporary. But there's definitely like that type.
There's a vibe to it.
Yeah,
Like, I think can be quantitized really. Like if it feels homey or not. Like it feels like a tangible thing in my body and mind.
Where you can make it your because literally, if you buy property or buy a house, that is you buying that to be your space. Like that is your space. That is space owned by you and Megan. So it's like you need to find the one that you can picture that being your space.
Plus, we have to, like, and I told her, we really have to think, because, I mean, we could have had a house if we would have just, like, had no standards and, like, just went with the first house that was livable, like, move-in ready, then we would be in a house. But, like, there's a certain idea to me is you have to prepare for things. So, like, these past couple years, America and really the world has been fucking wild. The markets, economy, the fucking COVID, everything. So now, in my mind, I feel like I have to be prepared for shit like that. So, like, if we're wanting to get, our plan was to get a house and stay in it for, 5, 6, 7 years or so, then sell it. Well, I feel that I need to find a house that if the fucking country goes crazy and, like, for some reason we can't get out of that house, I want it to be a house that, like, I don't outgrow.
Like you would be okay with extending that time.
Yeah.
No, I see what
Like
you mean.
if we were building a family in a house, like I don't want it to be a 800 square foot house,
Yeah.
Like it's not gonna work.
Looking for more of an investment house as opposed to a starter home.
Yeah, and when I say podcast audience, when I say move in ready, I don't exactly mean like it's like we put furniture in and we're good. If we gotta paint shit, if we gotta like pull up some drywall, do like trim on doors, replace doors, I can do all that stuff.
Handyman stuff.
That's
handyman stuff. I learned that shit.
You're gonna deal with that shit if you buy a house.
Those
that
things
happens
you're gonna
sometimes.
deal with inevitably. But that one house that we really wanted was so outdated. It needed paint everywhere. It needed the wallpaper taken off, which I know a really good
It
method
had
of taking
wallpaper.
off. It had wallpaper. in the kitchen. Sunflower wallpaper in the kitchen.
Ooh.
Fire.
Was it
Should've
like
kept that, dude?
wall trim or was it wallpaper?
Wallpaper.
Oh,
Even better.
jeez.
Even better.
Well, I
don't think I've
here's
seen
the trick
wallpaper
for
in
you.
a house.
And podcast audience, take notes. If you ever need to take wallpaper off of something, get drywall mud, that stuff in the tub, and just coat a thin layer over top of all of it. Let it sit for like 10 minutes. It'll peel right off.
I heard a similar trick to it with dish soap.
Yeah.
You can take wallpaper
I've
off,
heard
like
dish
with
soap,
trim
yeah.
and stuff. Because
We
that's what my
tried dish
brother-in-law
soap,
suggested.
and it kind of patches off.
Oh, really?
The best thing about the drywall mud is you can physically see every inch of it that you cover with that thin layer.
Mm-hmm.
So then by the end, you're looking at like a gray wall, basically. You can see a little through it. It's a thin layer. So, and then you just peel one corner and just all fucking comes off. It's my old boss, Megan's dad. We needed to take off wallpaper, and he's like, there's got to be another way. So he started doing some research, and somebody said drywall mud, and we had some extra. We tried the dish cleaner first. Didn't work really well. So he's like, let me try this other one with the drywall mud, and fuck, I'll never do anything else. And like, usually wallpaper sounds like a project that's like, oh my god, fuck that. But now that I know that method, that's easy shit.
Well, I feel like it's more of a pain in the ass if it's like trim. If it's like whole wallpaper, you might as well just paint over it. If you get like a thick enough, if you have a dark enough color and enough coats on it.
I feel like the paint chips off of wallpaper easier than it does off of just drywall.
And like drywall, it soaks into drywall. Like drywall has like micro pores, kind of
Micro pores.
Like think
like on your face, you know,
Yeah.
the little
Oh,
the itty bitty holes.
Those kind of pores. Okay.
You know,
drywall's a little porous. Like it's got the cardboard type paper over top of what is actually the drywall, and that has the ability to soak the paint in. No, the wallpaper is not meant to be painted over. So, and also those oils will start to make it peel off over time and make it all patchy looking. So, yeah, that's kind of how the house thing's been going. But I mean, I don't know, one day, and this is considered season 1 of the podcast, and when we move out and into a new place, that's going to start season 2. And
we have seasons.
we have seasons. And this, I've already labeled all of these as season 1, so season 2 is available. So we are going to do that, hopefully. So I would like to take this time while Jordan's checking scores.
Yeah, my bad.
You're good. To say thanks to everybody that's been watching. Our numbers have really picked up on Spotify. I don't like talking about numbers a lot on social media just because I want people to watch us like if they want to watch us, not because like views and all that shit. It just feels not authentic, I should say. So like, thank you for everybody that watches every freaking week. That's crazy. I never thought we would get to this point. I mean, shit,
Beautiful.
we're in quadruple digits of plays within the first 10 episodes. That feels unfucking real. How is that even fucking possible?
Yeah, it was wild seeing that.
Like 10 episodes, and we are above 1,000 views. That's, I mean, averaged out, that's like what, 100 per episode? Average.
Yeah.
100 plus.
Quick math.
120 because it was like 1205 or something like that.
The one that is far and away has the most, I'll say this podcast exclusive stat, far and away the most is the Spencer Cornwell episode. The one that we got into the Titanic and like
Titanic,
all of that shit. I thought, honestly, I
the
thought
Titanic
we got
or the Olympian?
yeah. We got carried away with some topics on that one, but I think people liked that apparently. So
That one was a very fun one.
that's the only one that still gets like views over time.
Uh-huh.
Like a lot of them die off, but I don't know. That one keeps going. It keeps going. So like, I appreciate you all. Thank you to Anchor for letting us use your service. I appreciate all the help that the people at Anchor have given us. And it's just, I think about it all the fucking time of how crazy this is. And I try to put as much effort into these things as possible. new YouTube stuff coming soon. Hopefully those things can start expanding even more when we start doing more shit outside of the podcast as a group. So I think that's coming down the pipeline. But again, thank you. Appreciate you.
Fooling.
Send us questions. Send us likes, comments, subscribes, notification bell, whatever the fuck you want to do. Fuck it. We're gonna expand to Apple Podcasts soon. So
Are we?
that'll be fun.
Nice.
Did we have any questions this week or no?
I don't think so. I think we are dry on questions this week. But give me 1 second and let me look.
Did we have a question last week when I missed?
No, but what we do have is we do have a question that we didn't answer last week because last week was a cluster. The question is, well, this is how it's worded. This SchmutzCast question of the day is brought to you by anal warts. Get one today. The actual question is, what conditions must be met to take the perfect shit?
Oh.
I really like that question a lot.
Oh.
There are perfect
Because
conditions.
I put
related.
thought into it sometimes. Like there will be
Some shits are
There will be
magical.
sometimes like I'm like, oh shit, I gotta take a shit, and I'll get up real quick, but I'll forget like my phone or my Alto or my Switch.
Your Switch?
You never played the Switch on the toilet, bro?
I have not.
At this point in time,
I'll be honest.
I almost exclusively only take shits while I have my Switch on me.
I'll be honest. I have been working one time, and I was like, man, I gotta take shit real bad. But like, I was in the middle of like a project that I was doing for work, so I just brought my laptop in there and just kept working on the shitter. Like,
I try to leave. I don't want to get caught up on Twitter like outside of the bathroom, so that when I go to the bathroom, I can have Twitter, my Alto.
It's Twitter time.
There's something about it when you get those
Twitter
like,
on the shitter.
gurgles.
Twitter on the
You
shitter.
got those gurgles, and you're like, ooh, we're cooking up.
We
And
better
then you
let this stew for a minute.
finally let her fly, and you're like, wow, I'm happy. Like it's euphoric at first. Like right when you release the demon, it's euphoric. And I would say a little air conditioning on, keep me from sweating.
Yeah, you don't want to slide off the off the seat.
oh yeah.
Y'all ever have those ones where you're sick? Those times when you're sick and it's one of those vicious burning boys in your belly, and like you got the mad shits, the Hershey squirts.
Dude, the worst ones are the fucking frat boy shits you take the next day.
Oh,
Next
yeah.
day. Bro, sometimes them frat boy shits, I gotta get naked for those, bro. I can't have clothes on me. I feel constricted. I'm there just fucking drenched in sweat. I'm like, Jesus, I want to die.
Yeah,
See,
that's like-
I'll be honest. I can't do it naked. I can't.
Well, have you ever had to take a shit mid shower?
I hate
Oh, that's
that.
the worst.
I hate that.
That is the
It's
worst.
the worst feeling ever.
It's the worst.
Because you're like, it's a decision has to be made at this
Yeah.
point. Are you going to walk around the rest of the day with a dirty asshole, or are you going to hop out, take a shit, and start all over again?
yeah, because I do not want to take a shit after I just took a shower.
It feels wrong.
Yeah, it feels
like
so wrong.
I can't leave the bathroom out of a shit right after a shower. And like I can shit and not shower afterwards, but I better be showering within the next couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels wrong to shit after a shower. It feels sacrilegious.
Sacrilegious.
See, so I think the best toilet that I have ever sat on was the old toilet at Jordan's parents'
You're
house.
talking about the one with the brown lid?
Yes.
Yeah.
It had the
was
cushiony
cushioned.
seat.
It was one of the cushion seats.
It sat low. It sat low, so like my legs never never fell asleep. It was the best. And so
I'm
like
so glad
the
you brought this up.
the-
'Cause I almost brought this up when I was talking about taking a shit while you're in the shower.
the water set high enough to where like it wasn't dropping out and plopping and sending water up to kiss your butthole, you know?
Bro, that's just a natural bidet, bro.
them-
You got to take that in
Dude,
stride.
I hate
Toilet
it.
bowl butterfly kisses, bro.
It's like getting a bidet with dirty water. It's cleaning yourself with dirty water. Like, would you shower with dirty water?
Yeah, but it makes more of a glide for the wipe. rather than you fucking wiping a dry ass.
Now, see, I
don't mind a natural bidet. You know, one solid splash to get everything just moistened up to get a good wipe going. You got to have a little glide to it. I'm a strong proponent of wet ones. I use wet ones. I'm not a dry toilet paper guy. You start start with a dry one, end with a wet one. That's the process.
I don't think I've
heard of doing that.
I've never used a wet wipe.
Well, you always you use the dry ones until your final swipe. Then you take a wet one on your final swipe. You feel nice and clean.
I can't say that I've ever tried like wet wipes.
Change your life. Megan gave me shit for it for so fucking long. She said I was a child for using wet ones. And then we were
That is not a childish thing to do at all.
We were at a buddy's house, and his dad walked up. A big, bear-looking fella. He was the one that mentioned to me about wet ones, and I was like, see, real men use wet ones. And he was like, yeah, I use wet ones. Fuck yeah. They have a bidet in their house.
I feel like those are becoming more and more common.
I've never used one. I feel like it may make me feel uncomfortable. And we were drunk at his house one time. I think it was
at my house.
No. This guy's house, our friend. He has the bidet on the toilet upstairs, and me and Megan both had to pee. So usually at parties, she wants me to go with her because she like feels weirded out, kind of thing. She doesn't want anybody to like follow her in the bathroom or whatever. You know, girl fears, I get it. Women, you know, that's how it goes. But I was drunk, and I was like, I've never seen one of these work. I wonder how much power this boy's got. So I leaned away from it and clicked the thing, slams the wall on the other side of the room. I was like, yo! That'd like poke another asshole in me if I fucking use that thing.
Wait, is this a friend that we all have?
Yes. It is a friend that we all have. He's also a big bear-looking fella.
The man that
You
owns
just
the
hung out with
bidet.
him last night
Okay. I didn't know there was a bidet in that house.
in the upstairs bathroom.
Like up by like the brother's room, or on the main
Did
floor.
you say where he was at last night?
Yes.
I can see that.
Yeah, it was upstairs.
They got
You know,
fancy- they got
you're in the
nice
living
house.
room. You walk up the stairs in the bathroom that's straight in front of you.
Yeah, next to the brother's house.
Yeah.
Or next to the brother's house, next to the brother's room.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I didn't know there was a bidet in there.
There is
That house is too nice to not have a bidet in
Yeah,
it, dude.
really. I mean, when you have a house that nice, you gotta at least
Yeah.
put a bidet in it.
At least throw one in the upstairs bathroom. Might as
So
well.
that's the question: is do you put a bidet in the guest bedroom or the guest bathroom, or
Hell no.
Or
If you're gonna have a bidet in there, you're gonna have
needs
that's
to
gonna
be
be
in the
like
master.
your treat. That's your treat for owning the house.
I don't think I
That's your
want one
special-
that's like literally like a fucking 12 gauge at my
It's a
asshole.
power
though.
washer.
That motherfucker, I don't know how your asshole stays intact after using that fucking
Cleaning
thing.
the sidewalk
It's like
with
a
that fucking
fire
thing.
hose. That shit was wild.
I was on spring break. The first spring break that I went to when I was in college, went with like a bunch of my fraternity brothers, and the guy and his like girlfriend, now wife, who like kind of set the whole thing up. I guess it's kind of like a thing where like whoever's like getting it all set up and booking the room, they're gonna have first dibs on which room. So obviously, they're gonna take the biggest room, biggest bed
With the bidet.
It had a bidet in it. And he was like, dude, he's like, I'm gonna try this thing out. And this is like a guy
Give it a
like
test run.
like you know how like you can tell like those people that aren't very adventurous.
Yeah.
Like he was not very adventurous. Like so he's like, I'm gonna try it out. So this is a big deal for him to try out a fucking bidet. And he goes in, he uses it, and he tells his girlfriend, he's like, dude, Becca, dude,
We gotta get one of those.
you gotta try this. We gotta have one in our house. We've gotta have one.
Some say it's the superior clean.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
Well, and if I am an appreciator of the natural bidet, then I would think that a powered bidet would probably work, as long as it doesn't like fucking blow another asshole.
What's a
in me.
natural bidet? A hose?
Well, we were just talking about it, where your turd dunks in the water and it fucking splashes. Now, when it hits your balls, that's when you're like, God damn it! Now I gotta take a shower.
oh, God, I'm
that's
dirty.
fucking gross. I got poop balls.
dirty.
That's when you gotta look like a girl and go like to the front with one, and then you gotta drop that one, and then you gotta get another like little handful and go behind. Like,
Bro, anybody that wipes back to front is a fucking maniacal psychopath.
they're dumb.
It's filthy.
literally,
It's filthy.
like, you're taught when you're like changing a kid's diaper that you go front to back, because if you go back to front, then that causes like rashes. It causes like,
Causes poop balls.
you know,
balls?
You don't want poop balls?
Don't want the poop balls.
that'll put rashes on kids, kids' genitals. Like that's
Kids nuts.
Genitals is a word that we probably have not used yet on SchmutzCast. New word.
new word.
New
Word of the day.
genitals.
Word of the day. Genitals.
Drink to that, fellas.
Hey, drink to it, drink to it.
Genitals.
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 Here. Oh, yeah.
But like, yeah, no, like that literally causes rashes. So like, I feel like you're kind of subconsciously taught that at a real young age. And if someone doesn't catch that and goes the other way, then you're a psycho.
I never thought a question about shitting would go this far. We've spent probably the past 10
Oh
minutes
God,
talking
we spent
about
like a good
shitting.
15 minutes. It was like,
And we never did map out each individual's like perfect conditions.
I said mine.
Well,
Switch, alto, phone, done.
Alto phone, full pod alto. If I go in there and it's like burnt up, I'm pissed.
There's a bit of disappointment.
It's a big disappointment because it feels like I'm shitting alone.
My little buddy's gone.
I like a cool toilet seat, not cold, but not like warm.
I don't mind a
Have you
cold
ever
seat.
have you ever sat on a heated toilet seat?
I'm not in.
Down it.
My ass sweats naturally, bro.
You
I've got
guys know
no reason
DKDs?
Mm-hmm.
They have heated toilet seats and a bidet in their bathroom.
I'll pass on the
in a
toilet seat.
in a public place.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would never
It
use
is
a
the
bidet in a public
wildest
place.
shit.
No,
I don't know
because
that I would
you
use a bidet in
splash.
general, but using a bidet in a public place, definitely not.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was not a question, but there was a comment on our YouTube video the other day. It was the one where we were talking about who would act as us. For Brandon, it was said by this person, Eddie Redmayne. So we're going to look this up because I don't know who that is. And I want to see... Oh, let me change the screen so that...
Watch this end up just being like fucking spot on. Like all these people look
You remember?
exactly
You ever
like-
seen Heavyweights? You remember seeing Heavyweights?
Oh,
that
that
kid
one
that's in the
kid?
background? That looks
Yeah.
just like Keebler.
That's Keebler. I don't know if I can get behind that.
Wait, is
Maybe
is
there's
Eddie?
Oh, that was the guy that plays
He's in the Fantastic Beasts movie.
he's also doesn't he play Stephen Hawking, young Stephen Hawking?
Is that a girl? Is Eddie?
That looks like Jessica Chastain. Nope, that's Eddie Redmayne. That kind of looks like Jessica Chastain. Miles Teller for Jordan. We know who Miles Teller is.
Who's
right?
Miles Teller?
Look it up.
Do you know who Timothy Chalamet is? He also said that for you. So I think Timothy Chalamet is more likely to... Which I think in the podcast I did say this towards you. I feel like he could play you.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Now
Who's
this
Miles
is-
Teller?
Nah, nose isn't big
Teller
enough.
Is
Oh,
That's Miles
the
Teller.
American Pie guy, right? Isn't
no,
he on?
he's not. He's
What?
not. He's not the American Pie guy.
I thought he was.
He was on the new Top Gun, and he was.
Jordan, you need
Yeah,
to
he's in-
shave everything but the
he was in
mustache
War
for that.
Dogs. He was in Fantastic Four.
I thought he was the guy that's in like all the American Pie movies.
Blake Anderson for John Will. This was my favorite. one,
That's
because this is
yeah.
spot fucking on.
With the mustache and the hair, it's perfect.
This is literally John fucking Will. That is John Will.
Yes.
That is John Will. He could totally play John Will. And
That
we're
is
not even
good.
going to look mine up
Who is
because
it?
he said Queen Latifah for me.
Yes.
So, that was the only other comment-related thing
Dude,
to read for today.
if we're being honest, that accumulation of actors.
That lineup would be
including
awesome.
Queen Latifah. That lineup of actors would be baffling for a movie, if no matter what it's
I
about.
would say your twos was spot on. Eddie Redmayne was a little off for Keebler, I think. But Queen Latifah, I mean,
spot on.
look at me.
I mean,
I am Queen Latifah.
I mean, I bet if you and Queen Latifah were wearing the same clothes and standing in the same room, I would I'd be confused on which one to shoot.
Queen
I'd be confused
Queen
who was
Latifah
me.
walks in here wearing a blue T-shirt, some Clippers shorts, and a backwards hat. I mean, I wouldn't know what. I don't know. I wouldn't
be
know which
lost.
way's up.
I'd be lost.
I'd be so lost.
This podcast is brought to you by Anchor. Anchor is the place where you can make a podcast all in one spot. You can do it on your phone. You can do it on the computer. It doesn't matter where you do it. That's where we do it. SchmutzCast is entirely done on Anchor, and we couldn't do this without them. And we thank them for sponsoring us. And where else other than Spotify? I know we can put it on Spotify, but where else can you put it?
You can't put it on Spotify as we do, but you can also put it on Apple services or any other streaming platforms.
Any streaming platforms with podcasts that you know, you can put them there. Isn't that neat? And, you know,
And best of all, it's free.
doesn't
So,
cost you a dime.
Cost nothing.
It ain't gonna cost you a dime. It ain't gonna cost your mom a dime. It ain't gonna cost your dad a dime. It ain't gonna cost your grandma a dime. So tell everyone about it.
It's a lot of people that don't cost a dime.
Now, what you need to do is download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started on your podcast dreams. Follow your dreams, kids. Episode 10, though, we had the idea that we should do things that are the number 10 related. And we kind of did that. We're kind of going to do that. There is a top 10 list that we're going to get into, but also that gave us the idea of doing tier makers. So we're going to do that too. So join us in this fun endeavor. Let's start out with the haunted places. Top 10
Come on, Vominos.
real haunted houses across the United States.
Everybody, let's go.
The
I
Whaley
misheard you.
House Museum, San Diego, California. Back in 1852, Yankee Jim Robinson.
What a name.
Was hung, Yankee Jim
He sounds like a bitch.
was hung by his neck for the crime of grand larceny. You get hung for larceny?
Yeah, they hang
Grammarly,
everybody.
that is incorrect. I'm gonna be the grammar
What?
police. The past tense for to hang someone via a noose is hanged.
Yeah, but they didn't use it in that context. They said they was hung by his neck.
He was hung by
He
his
was
neck.
hanged.
He was hanged.
He wasn't hanged like where it's the gallows. He was hung.
I think it's just in the wording. I think if they would have just said it singularly, just he was hanged, then yeah. But,
Regardless.
but they called
A
it
few
hanged
years
by
Sorry,
later,
I'm an idiot.
Thomas and Anna Whaley built a house on the spot where Robinson died, and soon enough, Yankee Jim's ghost showed up to haunt the site. It's said that his footsteps can be heard stomping around the house. Huh.
So Yankee Jim.
Yankee Jim. House of Death in New York City.
Sounds like a very
I wanna
lively
visit
place.
there.
Shut up, dude.
But
You don't have to talk.
you don't have
I want to.
So, Greenwich Village has some of the most desirable real estate in the world, save for one. I hate when people put that in sentences. Save for this. That's basically except, but save for. I don't understand why that's even a
Yeah,
grammar thing.
I don't like that.
Save for one brownstone on West 10th Street, known as the House of Death. The townhouse is said to be haunted by the ghost of 22 people who lived or died within its walls, including a 6-year-old girl who was killed by her adopted father.
Jesus.
Yeesh. This is New York City, however, so the house has a celebrity pedigree, too. Author Mark Twain stayed in the house in 1900, and his spirit reportedly returns for the occasional visit. Now it's sounding corny.
How do they know it's Mark Twain?
Yeah, I know. Well, hey, what gives away that he's Mark Twain?
I'm suspicious.
The ghost says, "Ooh, I'm Mark Twain."
Where's my typewriter?
Winchester Mystery House, San Jose.
That's a cool ass
California.
house.
That
really
I
cool.
gotta say, looks pretty badass, but I could see it being very creepy.
All the points and everything. That looks sweet.
According to legend, this rambling Victorian mansion that sits on a busy street in San Jose, California, is haunted by the ghosts of everyone ever killed by a Winchester rifle. That sounds corny.
I don't know
Are
about
these
this
tourist
one.
That's
attractions?
undoubtedly a lot of spirits. In order to appease them, the house owner, Sarah Winchester, the heir to the Winchester rifle fortune, kept adding on rooms to the house to make more space for the dead.
That's just someone that has more money than they know what to do with, bro.
The house had
10,000 windows?
2,000 doors, 47 fireplaces, 40 staircases, 13 bathrooms, and 9 kitchens.
Wait, can you go back up
That's
and
so
look at the
dumb.
picture of this place? Like, can you scroll back up to the picture? Because to me, it doesn't look like it's that big.
I mean, but it extends further deep.
Where he has it looks like it goes back a bit further.
Further back and left and right.
See, I was thinking like the edge, like the straight edges that you can see here, like where there's that lattice, like under the windows on the edges.
Yeah.
I thought that was like the edge of the house, and it goes back from there. I'm like, that has to be a long ass house if there's 10,000 fucking windows.
That's insane. If you're looking for a less spooky reason behind the house's mysterious design, the podcast 99% Invisible posited the theory that Sarah Winchester simply loved architecture and had more and more rooms added without tearing others down first.
More money than she knew what to do with.
Sounds like realistic. Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast. I think there was a TV show that they did about this one. I think I've seen this one somewhere. Back in 1892, Andrew and Abby Borden were found dead, killed by an axe-wielding psychopath.
Jesus.
The police number one suspect was Andrew's daughter, Lizzie. Lizzie stood trial for the crimes and was ultimately acquitted, but spent the rest of her life under the shadow of guilt. She is now said to haunt the Fall River, Massachusetts home, where her father and stepmother were murdered, and her ghost can be heard laughing at the top of the stairs.
Ew.
The house also serves as a museum and bed and breakfast, outfitted with ghost cams, where stalwart guests can spend the night listening for Lizzie's ghost, the ghosts of her murdered parents, or the echoes of maid screams after she found the Bordens dead in their beds. When we going? That sounds fun.
Yesterday?
Deal.
Say less.
That sounds so fucking fun. Going to one of those that you like, there's those haunted houses like that if you stay the night you get your money back. Like,
Oh, I would 100% do that.
exactly.
You literally like. I sleep in a haunted house every fucking day of my life. What's this? It's like a field trip for
Well,
me.
like
What are
there's
they gonna do?
there's one in
What are they gonna do?
our
Say boo?
area. There's one in our area that you pay like I think it's like $300 to $400 to stay the night, but if you leave early, they take your money. If you leave in the morning, and I think you have like a full 24 hours there.
I didn't realize that's how much it was. That's blasphemous how expensive that is.
Yeah, but if you go
It's
through
probably
with
going
it,
to be
you
on
get
this
your money back.
list.
Is
I
that
don't know,
the
there's
one
a
that we're
lot of
thinking
them.
of?
It's considered. What are you talking?
It's not fake haunted house. It's like supposed to be like the real deal.
Are you talking
actual
about the one
haunted-
that we think you're talking about?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one in downtown.
Oh,
In downtown?
I thought you
Downtown
were talking
this
about.
side of the water.
Okay.
Oh.
I thought you were talking about Waverly.
Yeah, it's on Main there, isn't it?
The Waverly does it as well.
Is it on
That's
Main?
what I thought you were talking about.
They don't do it anymore, but it was on Main. Yeah.
Oh no! I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
It was like
was on Main.
it's got like a-
still there. It's just that it's not a tourist attraction anymore.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about.
Funny
we
thing
did-
is,
I think
our buddy Zach lived. He doesn't live there anymore, but he did live in the one next door that was owned by the same original owners, and it's of the same name. It's the blank East and the blank West. The East was the one that was like the haunted one. That was the attraction haunted, which it didn't have like people dressed up or whatever. It was supposed to be legit haunted. And then next door was the West, and that they rented out that top space to Zach and a couple of his buddies. And I've been there multiple times, and Zach obviously lived there. There is countless weird things there. Like, I never, like, physically saw or, like, heard anything out of the ordinary, but the
had some weird vibes.
are bad. Zach said that he just told me this one the other day. There's a third floor on that, or I guess it'd be fourth or fifth floor from where he was. There was a floor above him, and that one was completely empty. It was like an attic, but there were stairs to it. And you walk up there, there was a chair set up in front of the window. I was like, Zach, do you just like chill up here and look out the window? He's like, I didn't put that there. That's been there. Like, it's always been there. We just don't touch it because it's weird. And it is weird. So he said he went to go.
We just made sure we didn't touch
Hold on,
it.
wait. This does change a little bit of the dynamic of it. What kind of chair was it? Was it like a wooden chair or was it like a
Old-ass wood
folding?
chair? Old ass wood chair.
Okay.
Like
That's very creepy.
furniture chair.
Like
not
an
one that's
old dining
usually
room.
portable. It's like
Like an old dining room table. Or old dining
Chair.
room chair.
yeah. And he told me one story the other day that he saw. Like he's usually not like freaked out by that stuff. I mean, obviously he lived there. So like he was walking to go pee or something, and on the way you can see the door that goes up there, and it was open. And he said he didn't open it. So he looked up there, and I think the lights were on or something. And he went to walk up there, and he said just a feeling overtook him that was saying, like, back the fuck up, like, get away. Like, you, like, get away from here. And so he turned the light off and fucking sprinted, closed that door, and he was, like, he said that he, like, froze because it was, like, a feeling that, like, went through his entire body.
This ghost said, back your punk ass
Back
up.
your punk ass up. But yeah, the place next door was the one that they turned into an attraction. They could probably turn the West into an attraction because it's fucking weird. There was some weird shit that happened there. Just like shit going up, like ending up in certain places that it shouldn't, and like doors just being randomly opened. Just weird shit like that all the fucking time. I would not stay in that place by myself. I think Zach wanted to go get food one time. I was like, either like I go with you or I'm dipping. Like, I'm not staying here.
I almost wonder. I know that we did. So when my parents did like the wedding show, like tuxedo stuff, we did like a wedding show down there.
There is, my sister's wedding was there. In the bottom floor.
It was like where we showcased. It wasn't like an actual wedding or anything, but it's where like we would go to like these showcases, and you would showcase your products. So, and there'd be all kinds of like wedding vendors there. And
did you see the bar that was back there? Not in the venue part, but like back in the old building portion. But for the viewers, this is a mansion, an old ass mansion, and right next to it is a barn that they built onto it that connects to it. That's a newer barn, and that they created a wedding venue out of it. And like we got ready in the West building, like that was connected to it. Weird vibes back then. I was like 13 at that time. Real weird fucking vibes. And then even when I went back there, seeing Zach, like Zach wouldn't go do laundry by himself there. He would make somebody go with him. I had to go with him. He would sometimes FaceTime me just so I could be on FaceTime with him while he did it. Because, and he showed it to me. Down there in the part that's connected to the barn, further back in that side of the house, it's the basement portion, and there's an old-ass bar down there. Looks like some shit straight out of the fucking Titanic or something. And behind that is where the washer and dryer was. So he had to walk all the way down there, go to the washer and dryer.
At all.
Yeah, he said some of the
placement.
weirdest shit he saw was down in that bottom floor.
Huh.
So,
So wait, did he have access to, like, obviously the bar probably didn't have like alcohol.
he had
and
access
stuff
to
there.
like 90% of the house.
So like he could have like had like people over in that bar just hanging out, like.
Probably not, because for some of the
would be kinda
weddings and
cool.
events that they would, like, when they had events, they would call Zach and his buddies and let them know that there was an event and not to, like, go downstairs.
But if there wasn't like an event or anything, like
Yeah.
he
There was
could
a
have
way
had
to
like
get
buddies
back.
there.
They could get to the washer and dryer without, like, interrupting the event, like, without anybody even seeing them. It was behind the bar. But he said that was, like, the weirdest place, and that it was really fucking weird.
That'd be cool.
Let's go down to
Let's say the White House.
You know, I have heard that the White House was haunted.
I mean, if anything is haunted, the White House has to be haunted.
I mean,
Yeah.
honestly.
Like, come on. You know how many presidents have died in there?
True.
Multiple. The White House
Really?
may be
In the
home
White
to the
House?
president, but it is also rumored to house many illustrious ghosts within the storied walls. President Ronald Reagan reportedly entertained dinner party guests with stories of his dog barking at invisible specters and his daughter Maureen waking to a transparent figure looking out the window of the Lincoln bedroom. Eey. It may have been President Lincoln himself returning to his former home in the hopes of reuniting with his wife and son. British Prime Minister Winston Churchill reportedly encountered Lincoln's ghost as well while he was stepping out of the bathtub. How do they know it's Lincoln? Does it look like him, I guess? Is it...
Did they see the really tall hat?
Must have been the hat. Had to
Had to be hat.
though. Had to have been the hat.
Saw the chin strap in the hat. Oh,
The tall
Dead
figure.
giveaway.
we've talked about it on the podcast before. I'm pretty skeptical about a lot of this shit.
That's why I want to take you to one of those places that's like a real thing, and like because like I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty skeptical too.
That doesn't mean
like
that
that
doesn't mean
shit.
I don't think it's spooky.
It's spooky,
Spooky.
but like I feel like once you see something, you will change your mind. And really, I haven't even seen anything, but I've had some really eerie vibes. And, like, and it's not even because, like, something is inherently scary. It's the vibes. The vibes are just off in some locations. Like you walk into a place, you instantly feel that, like you check your own vibe, like, this is weird.
Did you ever have those feelings at my house or no?
Well, I was about to say, we talked about it before, like, John's upstairs was always, like it was just kind of off.
Yeah. And see, that's the weird one. That's where it becomes, like, it's not because it's an old house, because that's a new house. Like, we saw that be built. So, like, for that upstairs to be creepy is not because it's old. It doesn't even look old. It's just, it's a vibe. Once you pass, like, halfway up the stairs, it's a vibe. Like, the vibe hits me every time.
I do agree with that. Also, I think a big part of it was I knew that John's parents had that fucking doll in their room.
Fuck that
too.
doll, dude. That doll ended up in the fucking basement somehow.
Dude, that thing was in the basement for the longest time.
It
at the
sucked.
Okay, it was at the worst possible spot too, because
Bottom of the steps.
there was not a
Tom
light
had to have done
switch.
that on person.
There was not a light switch at the top of the stairs at that point. So you had to go down to the bottom of the stairs in the basement before you could flip any lights on to see anything.
And that's where we hung out, like, 99% of the time.
yeah,
was in the basement.
because that's where my room was. That's where.
Well, even before your
That's
room
where the
was
Nerf
down.
Yeah.
goal, that's where the Nerf basketball goal was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had to throw down on some Nerf, but like
Nerf was-
that thing. So the corner at the very bottom. So like you walk down at the very bottom of the stairs. There's the bathroom is to the left, and then there's that corner there, and then there's the wall. That doll was standing in that fucking corner for the longest
Years.
time.
Solid years.
So this must have been before I got there. Then.
No, it was...
It was while you were there. Well,
When
we were
was this?
friends and
I
stuff.
don't remember that.
I remember it being down there for a long time.
Because I
lot-
only ever remembered it being in your parents' bedroom, and I always thought to myself every time that we would go in there, I would think, why would they have that doll just propped up looking at them as they sleep?
I mean,
You
but,
didn't
but
live in the
think about
basement
it.
at that point that I remember,
No.
because I remember Richard still lived in the fucking house when I'm
Well,
thinking.
they used to be Jackie's room.
We probably when you were ever hanging out, we were probably upstairs playing Xbox with Richard, or probably 90% of the time we were at your house.
Most of the time we were at my house, but
I feel like most of the time with us, we were at your house.
Mm-hmm.
Or either that or, like, 50-50, pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, but, like...
Historically, you probably were the person that came over the most to my house.
But there's a lot of things that John's house changed for me as a kid. One thing that changed my life forever was dogs. I was scared to death of dogs when I was a young kid, like pretty young.
Jesus
scared
Christ.
to death. And John had so many
that's not
dogs.
the house to go to if you don't
I know,
like dogs.
but
dude.
John was my ride or die bro, and I literally talked myself into it. I was like, I gotta do this so I can hang out with John. Like, I gotta get past these dogs.
I said
Like,
they're down
after
to
the
two now, but-
third or fourth time I was there, I was loving on those dogs. Now I literally
Dulce.
Dulce was the best. I was about to bring up
don't
Dulce.
make me cry. Don't make me
He
cry.
was such
bro.
a good boy.
I have a thing for dogs now. I feel for dogs more than I feel for people. We were watching a movie last night, and Megan, I didn't even know she was watching her phone. Women and looking at their phones during movies just kills me. But she was like, "Oh my God, you have to see this." It was somebody that found a dog on the side of the road. It was a young golden retriever, and it had one single tear going down its eye. I literally cried. I had a tear coming down my eye. I feel for dogs so fucking much.
I think the reason for that, because I feel the same way. I think the reason for that is because think about a dog. I saw it was a kind of funny thing. It was like it was supposed to be a meme, but it was like, if you ever want to figure out who your true best friend is, take your girlfriend or wife and lock her up in the trunk of a car for 4 hours or something like dumb like that, and do the same thing to your dog, and tell me who is more happy to see you when you open that trunk. And I was like, well,
It's true.
it is true. The dog is gonna be ecstatic to see
Griffey's
you.
ass will just hop out and be.
Griffey,
The saddest quote I ever heard about dogs was, "You are or the dog is a major part of your life, but you are the dog's entire life." That shit hits hard.
Yeah.
That dog bases its entire existence off of you. That's why, like, I don't get really mad at dogs. I think I'll say I think that with dogs, when you're training them, it is a certain way to like get on them but once they're trained, if they do something wrong, you get on them a little bit, but you're not like,
Well, once they get old enough, they understand what no means, and
but dogs deserve everything, bro. I love dogs.
Dude, that's like, whenever like I'm like just really like in my feels about something, I like that. Like, so dogs, they can kind of sense your
feel
feelings.
that. They feel that.
They feel your pain as much as you feel your pain.
They don't go fucking like a dog like Griffey when he's all anxious and whatever, like jumping around, like all kinds of energy. If you roll up and you just like glum, I feel like there was a time that you were having a rough time, and I came over and hung out, and Griffey came in the room, and I'd never seen him not like jumping around crazy, and he just came up and just put his chin on John's lap for like 30 minutes and didn't move. And I was like, that's a companion.
I saw the same thing. Now that you say
that's
that,
a companion.
Yeah.
Like when your dog can feel that with you, that gives you like a connection.
Your boy too, though.
Griffey, dude, yeah. Well, Pike too.
You had Griffey since he was a puppy, though.
Yes,
I think Pike's just scared of everything,
right.
Even emotions. I feel like Pike is scared.
If Pike wasn't so scared of men, he would have probably done the exact same thing. They both would have been up there. Like anytime,
he's a super nice dog.
Anytime I'm like like going through some shit or something, I'll go grab the dogs, and they'll just like post up on that couch with me and just hang out.
Yeah.
And they
don't ask anything of you.
No, they don't.
Like they are there for you.
You feed them.
Yeah.
That's like, I will not ever go a day in my life without having a dog as a pet.
Yeah.
I'd like to have multiple dogs. Obviously the way I grew up.
Me and Megan, at first Megan did not want to have a dog. I've talked her into getting a dog at our future home. Now she's talking about getting a second one so that they have a companion, and I'm like, all right, now we're getting somewhere.
I would never want to have more than one pet or more than two pets. Like I feel like two just gets to be so many.
I don't do cats.
I like cats.
There's a choice few cats in the world that I am chill with, and like Benny is one of them.
Benny's the ideal cat.
Benny and my uncle's cat are the only cats that I know that don't make the house smell like cat, and they also aren't like super annoying. Benny's on the line. He's close.
He's a fucking idiot, but
he's a dumb motherfucker.
He is the dumbest cat that I've ever seen. But like, if we have people over, he doesn't like hide out under our beds and shit. Like yeah, I'll leave my door open for him. Because he'll want to go in there and just chill out for a second, but then he'll come back out and like
he's more social.
He's a social cat, and he has a very high tolerance for other cats. Like because we had to keep him in Atlanta's house for a little bit before we moved into our house. So, like, Atlanta has, like, 4 cats, and he didn't give a shit. He just kind of hung out. Like,
Binks
is a prick. Okay?
Binks is an asshole.
The longest time I was always, whenever John would be like, oh, that cat sucks, I was like, oh, he's not bad, because every time I'd get him over, he'd be rubbing up on my leg and stuff. I'd be petting him, he'd be purring. I was like, oh, he's a good...
Binks still alive?
Binks? Jackie just got Binks, like, within this past year.
Yeah. That solid black cat.
Wait, did you have another cat? Did you have
Amelia?
The really chubby one?
There's a really...
That was
Amelia. Amelia was awesome.
I liked Amelia.
I was gonna say that cat didn't really do anything.
Dude, that cat.
Exactly.
We would open up the window to like the screen porch, and that cat would just like go in and out all day, just like kind of just do her thing. She would go out and just like sit like on the screened-in porch, just on the bed there, do her own thing. She'd come in and, she'd love on you for a bit, but like when she was done, like. You knew she was done. She wouldn't be like an asshole like Binks is about it.
Binks broke skin.
Dude,
Binks,
yes.
I like cats. I like them as their existence. I do not want to own one. Because there's differences. So the reason Benny and my uncle's cat and some other cats that I've met don't make the house smell, they don't cause a bunch of damage, is because there's a difference between cat owners and cat people. Cat owners are people that see the cat as a pet, like a dog. Like, if they do something bad, you show them that it's bad, you make them learn. Cat people see them as people. They see them as their kids, their fur babies, as you will.
Yeah.
And we actually did a remodeling job on this house that had like 8 cats.
Ooh.
We had to get masks. And this was right before COVID, and we got masks, and then COVID hit, so then we had excuses to wear masks without saying, like, your house smells fucking terrible. Well, we were doing the remodel, and I was doing the trim on one side of the house, and it was over top of the vent, and I didn't realize it, and we had the vent covers off. Air kicks on, blows right in my face. I was right next to the front door. I went out, vomited all over the yard.
Holy shit.
Right in the middle of the workday. And the worst part is that it was so nasty when we first went in there. I didn't puke at first, but it was like so bad smelling, and like cats were chewing shit up everywhere, that Megan's dad, who, mind you, cannot smell. He cannot smell anything. Has not been able to smell for 20 years. Or maybe 20 years. I don't know. It's been
he
a
had
long
the COVID
time.
back then.
He has no smell. First day we're there, he throws up.
Dude,
Because he thought about the smell of what it would smell like from what he's seeing.
that cat piss smell, like,
It doesn't go away.
There was a minute where, like, right after we got Benny, I don't know if it was like a mark. It was before we had him fixed and stuff, because we just found him like wild.
Yeah.
But like, there was a minute where I don't know if he was like marking his territory or something like that. But I had him in my room one time while I was getting ready for work, and he hopped up in my bed. I was sitting there, I was petting on him, and he went behind me. I wasn't even thinking about it. I stood up and I saw a big ass wet spot on my comforter, and he pissed on my bed. But right before I had to go to work, so I had to run downstairs and throw all this shit in the washer. That shit stayed on that comforter, like that smell, and it kept lingering in my room for like a month after that. And it was the strongest shit. Like, it smelled so bad, and it smelled so strong. Like, it would almost like make your it almost made my throat hurt, like, because it smelled so bad.
Doesn't
Do you all
cat
remember-
piss have like ammonia in it
Yeah.
or something? That's
Do you all
fucked.
remember like the smell of like the garage when we had like the barn barn cats in there?
God,
Oh, it
barn
was the
Barn
worst.
cats were the best. That was funny as shit. 'Cause
They
you'd
smelled terrible.
You'd walk past that door at John's house, you'd like tap on the door a little bit, and the fucking kittens would jump up on the window, post up spread eagle hanging on the window, and just stare at you.
But then you'd go out and you try to get one. And
Yeah, they were completely feral. Like, they were not friendly at all.
I remember at my grad party, I had an ex-girlfriend that was like, she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go try to catch kittens," and I'm like, "Are you
Good
a
luck,
psycho?"
good luck.
Good luck.
Like, so she went into the garage. She said she spent a good hour in there trying to catch a single kitten. She could not get any of them.
Fucking
Yeah.
graduation party, dude.
Dude, it was.
I remember that.
Was that the one where Greg dumped a bunch of shit on himself? Or was that a
No,
different
that was
party?
football. That was a
okay.
football party. Because when we played backyard football, because we had a big old jug of tea, and then like a bunch of other stuff got
It was all
poured
the
in it.
leftovers of all the different drinks that were at the party. Are you sure that wasn't your grad party?
I don't think so, because it was when we were playing.
I don't think we were playing football that day, because
Are you
that's
sure?
that's why he had all the random shit from.
Hold on, I actually have the video still.
I do too.
Let's
Is
see
it?
what
It was in the summertime because we were over at Spencer's house with a bonfire, and he just, for no reason, Greg just picked up this cooler full of a bunch of random shit and just dumped it on himself.
So I lied. I don't have the video anymore.
Okay.
Oh wait, yeah, I do. Yeah, I
I
do.
was gonna say you're the one with the video. I
It
just
was-
I had a picture.
It was July 26th, 2015. Can we play the video?
So that would have been. I don't think there's any way we'd be able to play that.
No, not right now, but if you send it to me, I can put it in there. Put it in right here for future.
Is
Edit
this- Is this something that like? Greg, I mean, I don't think Greg would.
Greg would not give a shit. Greg was almost on the podcast today.
No, Richard was almost on the podcast.
Greg
Well,
was
I asked
also
Greg
almost
if he
on it.
wanted to be on.
Oh.
He said if I get back in time, but he didn't get back.
Well, we'll put it on there. We'll put it on there. I'll look at it after. We're gonna do tier lists here. Actually, I have one more question about haunted things. So at your house, we were talking about dogs as well. I've always heard that dogs have a certain sense of paranormal things. Do you have any experience in that?
I mean, so traditionally, the dogs that are up on Will Hill are not necessarily the smartest.
Facts.
So
Yeah, they're
they're more street smart.
They have
I
a run
think
of really
every
fucking
single
stupid
one of them
dogs.
was street smart.
I'd say Duchess was really smart.
I like Duchess.
Duchess
was a really good
Roxy
dog.
wasn't dumb.
Roxy was pretty dumb.
Roxy was dumb.
Not
as
as
a rock.
dumb as
She was
fucking-
annoying. Roxy was a bitch, is what she
Your
was.
current run of dogs is maybe the dumbest run of dogs that you have had.
This
Oh,
batch.
yeah.
This batch of dogs is the dumbest batch that you've ever had.
Fucking Pike and Griffey.
That combo right there.
Pike is smarter than you think. It's just the thing is that you all obviously don't spend much time with Pike because he's so
I
scared.
did
of
when you
men.
first got him. When you first got him, it didn't seem like he was scared of me.
He's let me pet him before, but it was only like one
It's
time.
now. It's like he won't even get within 10 feet of me.
It's if he doesn't see you for a while, like when
That's what it was.
when Keenan and I were getting ready for like a bunch of our acoustic shows, Keenan was over twice a week, and Pike got used to him. But I bet you now, like it's been a while since he's been over, so like if Keenan came over now, Pike would run away scared of him. He needs to consistently see someone to be okay with them, like very consistently.
Yeah.
I wonder what would happen if you put me in a room with him and close it off to where it's like a 10 by 10 room and close it off.
His anxiety would go through the roof. That dog saw some shit, man. Like that
Yeah,
dog's
'cause
seen some
he just
shit.
showed
He
up.
for sure was like abused before.
He
even
just
being
showed
he
up,
showed
didn't
he showed up. Yeah, he showed up with this other dog. Right, there was a little like beagle that was annoying as fuck.
I love beagles, dude.
Oh, this dog was terrible.
Most beagles are pretty annoying.
Like this thing would jump
I
up
love
like
'em, though.
it was like, off the table. It was maybe like this tall. It was a puppy. It was a puppy, but that thing would jump like up to your shoulders. Like it was so high strung. So he showed up with that dog, and I don't know like if those dogs came from the same owner or what. And he showed up like skin and bones with a rope around his neck that was like chewed off like at like the edge or like
God damn.
broken off somehow at the edge. So he showed up and turns out last year I think it was he we took him to the vet for something and he actually had a chip in him from a previous owner. So we found out who the previous owner or the previous registered owner was. So the dog's name originally was something like dumb, like Charles, like
He looks like a Charles.
like a regular human name, like not even a human name that you would use for a dog.
I
right?
would name a dog Charles.
It
I
was
don't think I'd name it that, Charles.
I would not. That's dumb.
Well,
So
my
he-
sister's dog's name is Charlie.
See, okay,
Charlie's a very common name for a dog.
Charlie, I
feel
can
like.
get behind, but Charles, it was, but
King Charles.
I don't know if that's what it was. So don't fact check me on that one. I'll figure out what the name was, and I'll tell you all. But so like we called because when we took him to the vet, they said legally we have to, since like the dog wasn't registered as sold or given to you by the previous registered owner, legally we would not be allowed to give you this dog back. So I got kind of scared for a minute. I'm like,
Yeah.
are we about to lose Pike?
Mike.
Like
Just
that,
so he gets
that's
his
my boy.
vaccines.
And so we called the owner, and he was like, I haven't had that dog in like 4 years. And, you know, it's been a while. So there was someone else that had him after that. And he was like, yeah, I don't want that dog. Just like, yeah, I don't want him. And so there was apparently an owner between when he was, we'll say Charles for now, when he was Charles and when he was with us. So there was someone else in there in between.
Well, how do you know there was a person in between them?
Because he didn't show up in the time frame. The time frame didn't match up for whenever the guy said he last had that dog.
I don't think he'd live wild for 2 years.
Well, I thought you had Dad Pike for a while though, because it was
We've
whenever-
had him.
It was whenever you were a Pike, so like.
I mean, yeah, I was a Pike in, let's see,
Last time you were a Pike was like what, 2019?
2020.
It was like 3 years ago. Wait,
This could have been. All I know is I don't know if my time frame that I'm saying right now, like the 4 years thing.
When was it that you took him to the vet?
I don't even remember that. I just know that the time frame
Oh.
did not match up.
Okay.
There was
I thought-
someone
I thought
else
you-
that
I
had
thought
him.
You meant like that wasn't very long ago. Like it was like a few months ago.
No.
Oh, okay.
There was. I think it was last year sometime, but I'm not even quite sure.
I was gonna say because you've had Pike since.
Long.
I've had him for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
But all I remember is like that the time frame didn't match up for him. And honestly, I don't even know how old he is, because they say like there's ways like to tell with like how their skin is like colored and like wrinkled, but you know, since he was kind of in the wild for an unknown amount of time, that affects that too.
That
Yeah.
does do that.
Because that's how like Benny,
Yep.
you know,
That's what the vet told me with Benny.
yeah.
It makes
So,
their like inner lining
To my
thicker.
question earlier, do you have any stories that relate to dogs maybe barking at a random corner that is weird or like a weird situation like that?
My dogs. So Roxy used to bark at planes and fireworks. So they'll bark at anything that they think is any remotely weird. Which, given where I live, like there's critters running around everywhere. Like we got deer, we got turkey, we got
Them critters.
snakes in my house. Like that shit. Mice running through the house. We live in the woods and next to fields, so like we're gonna have mice in the house. It's inevitable. So
What you got the animals for?
exactly, that's why Jackie has banks. But I haven't experienced anything weird worth noting in my mind. Like, why is that dog barking at that random wall?
Yeah, because they're just dumb enough to do it anyways. I gotta see number one here. What's number one? Biltmore. Oh, the Biltmore is like, that's a super famous attraction that isn't known as like a haunted place. It's like an actual like tourist attraction because I think it's like the biggest mansion in the country or something like that. George Washington Vanderbilt II built this.
That is a hell of a name.
Keep inviting me to parties. Since then, it's gained its reputation for being one of the most haunted places in North Carolina and the country. While nothing completely nefarious has happened on the estate, the home's former owners seem to remain very active in the afterlife. After Vanderbilt died in 1914, his estate passed on to his children, who decided to open the home to the public. That's when the paranormal activity started to begin. Which, when those type of stories happen, that's when my skeptical mind becomes like, okay, so it only started happening when a bunch of people started showing up. So that gives more chance for people to like have like some brain activity that's not exactly legitimate.
Yeah.
Visitors have claimed to hear a woman's voice, possibly Vanderbilt's wife, Edith, calling his name, and some say they've spotted some ghostly apparitions. The estate also features a number of hidden doors and passageways. That sounds cool, adding to the home's overall spook factor. Today, anyone can tour the estate either on their own or with a guide. There are also winery tours and places to stay nearby if you're hoping to get a nice long trip out of it. My sister and her husband have gone here before. They say it's really cool.
Is Waverly not on this list?
I doubt it.
Really?
But I have seen it on a bunch of TikTok, like, haunted places lists.
I was gonna say, because I know it's like famously haunted. Like,
yeah, this fucking, I've seen this picture somewhere. Yeah, I want to see the part about the picture.
Well, with those pictures like that, with those old cameras,
Yeah.
it takes so long to take a picture that, like, if someone was standing in frame for a portion of that time that it was taking the picture and went out, then it would show up something like
it's
that.
also
So
hella easy to just doctor that photo too. Like,
See, I think that too, with people that have the skills to do that, but I gotta say, I've tried to do shit like that. I can't make that shit work. It doesn't work for me. So, what in the spirit of the 10th episode, let's do some lists that we came up with. So, Kanye West albums. I think that these are. I'm gonna call these out and say what I think and see if you all agree. If not, we can talk about it. We'll start with College Dropout. I think College Dropout goes to a solid B tier for me in the Kanye list.
what were some of the songs on that one?
School Spirit's my favorite one. Jesus Walks.
wasn't I thought Gold Digger was on that one too?
No,
Gold
Gold Digger's on the
Digger's.
late registration.
Oh, okay.
Same
I was
Bear
gonna
is
say-
on that album
Yeah, I
cover.
kind of in an alternate world, I'd like to see what the rest of Kanye's covers would have been if he would have kept with the bear idea.
I wish he did. That would have been kind of cool.
There are people on Reddit that do alternate covers, and they've done all the like bear covers for all of the Kanye albums, and I
Oh,
love
yeah.
it. Like this one is like you've seen the unfiltered version of the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, right?
Yeah.
Would a
It's
Life of
supposed to
Pablo be like?
Kanye fucking Kim K?
Would a
Even
life
though he
of
wasn't dating Kim K yet.
Would the Life of Pablo be like a bear with just a nice ass like sitting right in front of it?
No, I think the one they did for that was that they made the bear look like Pablo Escobar. And
Oh,
they put
shit.
an orange background on it. So
Yeah.
that one was kind of cool. But College Dropout's got some really good heaters on it, and I think it influenced a lot of his music going forward. Late Reg, I think it's a B. What do you all think?
I'm thinking that's more of an A, honestly.
These got Touch the
these
Sky.
early albums, I'm so hit or miss on if I know these songs because I haven't listened through the early albums.
I would say there's a lot more quality involved with Late Reg, but College Dropout has some songs that just like will be iconic forever. Like Jesus Walks is gonna be like a song that's gonna be involved forever. So next album was Graduation.
I think Graduation is at least an A.
I'm putting Graduation at S. Do you all think that
There's a
stands?
lot of good. There's a lot of
being
good stuff.
Stern, I'd put Graduation like a B.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think it's nearly. I
Well,
don't think
so
it's nearly
we're split,
his best
so we'll make it
album.
an A. And we'll debate after.
We have to be somewhat. There's a lot of tiers. There's a lot of choices on here. It goes S to F. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it. There's only so many.
But
albums.
also, okay, so now we kind of need to, when it comes to Kanye music, that's what we need to do. S tier Kanye music or F tier Kanye music, and even F tier Kanye music would be a B in a lot of categories.
I think the newer albums, specifically the two newest, are going to be what kind of fills up the bottom.
Not in my opinion.
I don't,
Really?
I don't think Donda would.
Donda is really high for me, but we'll get there.
I put Donda.
So
like
we'll put it
C.
Graduation. We'll put Graduation at A, and we'll go back and refine this list. That's how me and Megan usually do it. Is we kind of go with our gut between the two of us, which now the three of us, and then go back and like kind of refine the list.
Okay.
So next we would have 808s, 808s and Heartbreak. I think that makes S tier.
See, that's why I'm saying like one's like 808s, one's like.
I think 808s
Pablo.
not only is fantastic music, but influenced an entire generation of music that we still love to listen to.
That would be an S tier.
That's an S tier.
Yeah.
That's no question S tier. Next album on our list would be Dark Twisted Fantasy, and I think there wouldn't be any arguments there, would there?
Yes.
I would say at least A. It'd be. I mean, if anything, it'd be a low S.
Well, see, what matters is how we're basing this rating in terms of like personally liking it the most, or like how much you like,
What is the best music?
like objectively or subjectively, because that's a very subjective.
I would say more subjectively than anything, but really it's like, okay, you put up Graduation versus Late Registration in any facet, like which one's better? Which one is better? Which is the better album? I'm going to go, okay, we'll stick with that. In quality of music, what's the best?
Out of which one?
Well, that's what I'm going with. Like,
Oh, okay.
in quality of music, I think
thought you were
his
still comparing
greatest
two of them.
album, production-wise, lyrically, story, thematically, everything is just.
I think
his
there's
best
one album on here that we're all going to absolutely
Yeah, let's
agree
just
with.
go
You
ahead.
know, we're just gonna
We'll go ahead and-
elephant in the room.
See, I definitely
Because
think
I
Rapper
would
Pablo is his
probably
best
put that at a
one.
low S, a high A,
Really?
but I really think these two albums are better. Actually, in my mind, there's no question that these two albums are better than Pablo.
Well, see, here's the thing. I think we're gonna end up putting so many in S.
I don't think we're gonna put so many
Well,
in
we're
S.
going to rearrange here because I think those are our three S's right there. I don't see any of these being
Yeah.
an S just for the fact that I'm not the one picking them. We're doing this as a unison here. So,
Right.
like, if you all don't think, we'll discuss later, but say you didn't think the My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was an S, we'd go a median. So if you all thought it was a B, I thought it was an S, we'd go A.
Okay, let's just keep rolling. Then
So as
and
a
see where it
group,
ends up.
then we're gonna put Pablo back. We know
I thought
it's
you were
gonna
about to
go
put
there.
it down to like D.
No.
And I was like, easy.
We're gonna go in chronological order here. So we had Dark Twisted Fantasy, then we have Yeezus.
I put Jesus at like a strong B
Strong B.
I agree
compared
with that.
to other albums.
I would put it in an A, but I'll give the B just because I think that makes sense. Like I can work with that.
I'm trying to be stern.
We'll have to do some rearranging, maybe. So next on the list would be, I think, Watch the Throne came before Cruel Summer, maybe. I don't know. They were very close together. Watch the Throne. It has Neighbors in Paris.
That's the only song I know from that album for sure.
You know Otis?
Maybe. Like, there's so many Kanye songs that I know that I just don't know the names.
Nah, nah, nah. Got, nah, nah, nah.
That song, the first one.
Got to fill the whole summer in.
The first one you said, I think, is one that got real famous real fast, stayed famous for a long time, and will stay very famous for
Everybody
a
knows
long
that song.
time.
Everybody knows that song.
Everyone, and I think honestly that is what brings it up to like the B. You know, otherwise I'd think like it's a C because honestly I don't quite know any. I don't know much else
I
on
put
it.
a B or C.
I love Watch the Throne. I would go with B just to be in the median. There.
Okay.
So then we'll do Cruel Summer. You all don't know Cruel Summer.
Well, you were playing it earlier. I did recognize a lot of the songs.
A lot
they
of
were
those
playing.
songs, but in a Kanye list, not all of those songs were written or created by Kanye. Like Don't Like, that's a Chief Keef song that they added features to and re-released it as a Good Friday song. So I'm going to give that a C.
All right, I'm fine with that.
Because there are some classic songs on there, but the classic songs on there were already classic songs when they got to that album.
Mm-hmm.
So then next on our list after Cruel Summer, I think, is Pablo. And we already decided S tier for
Yeah.
Pablo. Then after Pablo, we had Ye, which I'm going to give a D.
Whoa, that's got fucking
Ghost Town.
it's got Ghost Town on it.
It also only has 7 songs on the album.
It has 7 songs on the album, and it has the least replayability of any
If you have
Kanye album I've
if
ever.
you have an album that has just 7 songs on it, I expect all those songs to be bangers because that means you spent so much time on each individual one.
The first song is a skit for most of it. I Thought About Killing You, which I do love it, but is a skit.
I want to defend it, but I can't.
So what I'm gonna say is pretty like sacrilegious in Kanye fandom. I return to Jesus is King more than I return to Ye.
Wow, I assume that Jesus is King was
has
gonna be the
some
for
songs
sure
on
F.
it that I heard in leaks with the Yandi releases. There's a lot of songs on Jesus is King that were supposed to be Yandi songs, and they just changed the lyrics to be like gospel type lyrics.
What was it like, Selah and whatever the other?
I
one
heard them
is?
all. I heard almost actually all but one. I heard in leaks, and the versions were better outside of the gospel theme. But like the Storm, I think is what it's called on Jesus is King.
Oh, I remember you've been on that.
That one,
Yeah.
I had been listening to that for fucking months, and I still listen to it. I have the other versions on my Spotify now, but like still, I go back to that song, and that is considered on Jesus is King. Next was Kids See Ghosts. I have a
D.
strong opinion against Kids See
I was
Ghosts.
gonna say D.
I would say D. I really think
I still
that's
listen
so
to a lot of those just because I love Kid Cudi so much, but I
think they both underperformed.
It also only has
Lackluster
7
is a
songs
good
on
way
it.
to put it.
Kanye had a thing that year of producing 7-song albums. He did one for Pusha T. He did one for himself. He did one him and Kid Cudi. He did one for Tiana Taylor. I think those were the only ones that released. He did one with Ty Dolla $ign, but it never came out. But he had a run of that, and the only real good one that stands out is Pusha T's. Tiana Taylor's was pretty good too, but it was really sexual. It's not one that you just listen in the car while you're cruising. It's talking about fucking all the time.
Yeah.
That like even like having Ty Dolla $ign on a song about threesomes is some shit that you expect to be downright filthy. Like the wording that Ty Dolla $ign uses when he's talking about sex is just filthy. It's worse than like cursing. It's worse than cursing. It's just the words he uses is just wrong.
Yeah.
So the next album was Jesus is King. I would put that as a D as well. Even though you're arguing F. You're arguing F here.
Yeah.
I can say I argue against the F just because Kenny G's on it.
Well,
Have you heard Kenny G's saxophone solo?
I listened through the whole
last song?
thing because I remember whenever it came out, I listened to the whole one. And the thing is, my case for it being an F instead of a D is that there's a lot more songs on it than like
Yay and Kids See Ghosts.
than Ye.
It's got 11.
And granted, yeah, Ye has the one song. Jesus is King has like one song on it that I listen to now still too.
There's some songs I listen to for the meme off of Jesus is King, like Closed on Sundays. That shit's funny. Closed on Sundays.
Yeah, but it's
You
not
my
a song. It's not a good song. Like, it's just.
Well, there are 3 songs on there that I still revisit.
Which ones?
Hands On or Hands Off. It's one of those.
Hands On.
Hands On is probably my favorite from that album, just because of the beat. And then also for the beat is the one with the car alarm. I think it's the last one. Use This Gospel.
Jesus is Lord.
No, that's like a skit too.
Use the Gospel.
Use This Gospel. Yeah, that one was a Law of Attraction before it was the Law of Attraction.
Yeah.
Instead of Use This Gospel. This album is not really a Kanye album.
I don't recognize that.
It's the Sunday Service Choir.
Oh.
And it is songs that the Sunday Service does. There's one that they do that I love to death. It can still be an F because it was like it is not on par with Kanye music.
Well,
But
do we just want to skip that one then, since it's not really?
I'm just gonna put it in F anyways. But there's one that's called there was a song by Genuine called "So Anxious." Drake sampled it on one of his songs, but it's called "So Anxious" and it's about fucking and like fucking on the first date and shit. They made it. It's called "Souls Anchored," and instead of saying "so anxious," they say "my soul's anchored." Like, it's really cool how they do it. They redo a song about fucking on the first date to making it a gospel song. That's the most Kanye shit I ever heard in my life. So we'll give it an F just because that's the only song that I even remember on it. I have not revisited it since the first listen. I have no interest. Donda, though.
I put it like a B.
I have a hard fight for an A.
I wouldn't put it in an S.
I wouldn't put it in an S either, but in an A, there are some phenomenal songs. That front half of the album was incredible.
Honestly, I still haven't even listened all the way through that album.
You need to.
You know,
Every time I do it, I don't know. It doesn't hit me the way I want it to hit me. I guess.
Have you heard the one with the Weeknd, Hurricane?
Yeah.
That's the one that leaked a long time ago.
Yeah.
We've been hearing it for fucking years, and then the Weeknd shows up and is the fucking feature for it. That blew my fucking mind. 'Cause I always thought the Weeknd would be perfect on it.
since the album of Life of Pablo, I can't really say much about any of the other 4 albums after that.
Yeah.
5, I guess, after that. Was it 5?
It was Pablo, so Pablo doesn't count. So after Pablo, it was Yay, Kids See Ghosts, Jesus is King, and Donda, and then Sunday Service Choir.
So I can't really speak on those. I know that like if I've heard them like around you guys, they haven't really like caught my ear.
I don't know if I've played Donda around either of you all.
You have around me.
Have I?
Yeah, because after I told you I hadn't listened to it yet, you kept playing it.
First time I saved every song but 2, and those 2 were fucking stupid. So, the features on the album, it was feature heavy.
It was
and
wild.
I loved that.
Some of the features were very interesting because they had
Playboy
like fucking
Cardi, I did not
Marilyn
expect
Manson.
to be on it. Marilyn fucking Manson, bro.
Oh no.
That's insane. Okay. I'm going to put it in A because I feel very strongly about that. And we can discuss. So right now we've got, I say we cut one out
I
of
think Aaron
S tier.
Rodgers just threw a pick 6.
Nice.
That hurts me, dude.
We cut one out of S tier, I think. And I know what
think-
you all are going to say.
Honestly, me personally, just because I'm more familiar with the other 2, 808s and Heartbreaks
Would go away.
would go down to A.
I think in terms of music I enjoy, I think these 2 would be the ones that I would keep. As in music that I think is the best of music, it's hard to even It's hard to even cut between those three.
Like I said, that's just because of me. Because I'm not as much of a Kanye person as you all are, and
I'm not
it's
either.
obvious.
Like,
Well, can you
Well,
all agree upon one of these to cut out?
Life of Pablo stays because there's only a handful of albums that I will listen to front to back, for the most part.
And Life of Pablo.
Life of Pablo is one of them, and you all know that I'm not like real into hip hop or rap
Yeah.
or anything, but like when it comes to Life of Pablo, and it might just because of all the memories with that album that
Great
go along
memories.
with that album,
Great memories with that album.
and that was a whole like life stint in its own, like, of our lives. That album really described a lot of that summer.
Yeah. So what do you think?
But like
808's out, or do you take
I'm torn
Dark
between-
Twisted
I'm
Fantasy?
because there are some songs on Dark Twisted Fantasy that makes no sense why they mixed it the way that they did.
That shit's fire, dude. Every fucking song is a banger.
the only two songs that I really recognize from 808s and Heartbreaks, like just from reading the names, are Heartless and where'd it go? I just had it pulled up here. Streetlights.
You know,
think-
Welcome to Heartbreak. And my
Yeah.
heart keeps spinning, can't stop having you there. Gotta get with it. Ooh, 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 ooh.
I don't know, but you also aren't
Not a good-
Kanye, so
I'm not.
That
Kanye.
sounded heavenly, dude. I don't know why you stopped.
So, well, why don't we just leave it at that? Because we'll just leave it at that. But because I want to see what the community says.
Yeah.
The tier maker community says, "Oh my God! Oh, it's downright disgusting! You've got Kids See Ghost at an S tier."
That's bold. See,
These were about where we had them. That was even about where we had it.
that. I don't know.
I think 808s definitely needs to replace Kids See Ghost.
See, I think people forgot that there was other tiers. And
Yeah, it seems like it. Seems very much like it. These are specific
See, like that
peoples.
one to the right,
That
that
guy
one's a
has
little more
Donda
fair.
at S.
That guy's
Dark
wrong.
Twisted Fantasy and 808s at C.
ooh.
Yikers. Ugh. I could probably rock with that. I could handle that.
That one's a
top
bit more
four.
fair, but they got a lot of them in
That
A.
guy he also had Graduation pretty low.
At D, God, he put Watch the Throne at F. Holy shit. Okay. On to the next one.
Interesting.
Let's stick on the music trend.
All right.
So this is something that me and Jordan
Oh,
really
jeez,
listen
this
to a
is gonna
lot.
take forever.
I'm only going to do the ones that at least one of us know.
Yeah, these are a lot.
If we're going full grunge of my favorite grunge music ever, this is S tier all day fucking long.
Was it Days of the New?
Days of the New. All day long. That
You
is
put them in
S
S tier compared to
All
like some
day.
of these other bands that are on
all
here?
day. When bro, if for Spotify Wrapped this year, Days of the New may be in it again this year on my top 5 for like the 4th year in a row.
I can't believe you like Days of the New that much.
That first album's the only one I listened to.
Is it just the fact that they're like kind of a local band, or
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I didn't figure that out until a couple years ago, and I was already like huge into that album.
So is this bands or is this albums?
Albums.
See,
because you
I
see
don't
all those
know-
Alice in Chains albums?
I don't know the grunge albums like full as much as like I would know like newer albums.
Well, I can point out
like
some songs on each one.
it would be songs that I would be comparing these to. So like I feel like the Alice in Chains
I would put Dirt
Dirt
over
would
any
be
of them.
pretty high.
Dirt's pretty high.
I think the Smashing Pumpkins, the Siamese,
Siamese Daydream.
that's
or
pretty
whatever.
high.
Siamese Dream, but is Siamese Dream over Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness?
I don't think so. Because
I think-
Siamese Dream does have Cherub Rock on it, but
Melancholy.
and the Infinite Sadness has a lot more stuff on
And
it. though.
that's what I'm saying. Like for Siamese Dream, the only reason that I say that it'd be like super high is because of Cherub Rock, because I know it.
That's a
Yeah.
great song.
It
I
is.
love
Great
Cherub
song,
Rock.
but I think the
Every-
quality of the album front to back, I think, fits better with Melancholy.
Every band that I'll ever be in, we have to play Cherub Rock. Like
Same.
You know, I'm gonna go out on a limb and people are gonna hate me. Dewey's gonna hate me the most. I don't love this album.
I don't,
what
I
all's
do
on
not-
that one?
The
Love
only
that
song I
album.
can think of off that album
Uncaged,
was
I think.
Well, Uncaged. Well, yeah, I guess that one too. But I was thinking of Outshined.
I thought Outshine was on. What's the one with Black Hole Sun on it?
Is that
I don't think it's even on this list,
No,
which
it's not there.
is wild
I'm
because
pretty,
that's
it
my
is-
favorite
that's
Soundgarden
one
album.
that has Spoon Man on it. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's not the same.
Isn't that album Black Hole Sun? Like,
Yeah.
isn't that
No, I don't think it's called.
I thought it
that.
was. I thought that was what the album
I don't
was.
think
Where
it's called
it's
Black Hole
black
Sun.
and it has like the orange and red on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah,
Fact check me. I don't think that's called Black Hole Sun.
I'm
It might be something. Black Days, maybe. Is that what the album's called? That one. What is that called? No, that one right there.
Super Unknown.
Super Unknown. Okay. God, I feel stupid. I should have known that. Okay. So we're gonna go with.
How would you know it? It's Super Unknown.
So we'll put Days of the New at A, just because you all don't listen to it as much as I do. I think it's unison that Dirt goes to S.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
that
think so.
motherfucker has bangers all the way through.
Plus, I saw Nevermind down there. I think Nevermind probably goes on this as well.
I'd
don't
give it
think
an
so?
A. I don't know if I'd go S with it. What do you think for Nevermind?
See, I only know just a handful of songs
You got
from it. So
In
like,
Bloom.
In Bloom, I know, yeah.
Smells like Teen
Lithium.
Spirit.
Is Lithium on Nevermind?
I think so.
I think.
I'm not real familiar with that song
I listened
either.
through that album not that long ago.
I think
and I remember almost all of them. I was like, yeah, this is pretty good.
I think In Utero is that one. That
that one has Heart Shaped Box.
Heart-Shaped
I know,
Box.
but that's the only one I can really think
It has
of.
a couple really good ones. It has Rape Me, which
Yeah,
I
it
think as a
does.
cultural thing, like I think that was kind of an important song.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it may not. He may not have had the right intentions behind it. I don't know what his intentions were, but I know that it had a lot of eyes on it, on the subject. So
Yeah, it's tough because there's so damn many of these. I don't know how many of these we're gonna throw
so
up
this
there,
is Jar of Flies. Also, which we would put these two in the same thing because they're basically bundled together. They're basically a combined thing. They're both like short EPs. This has 7 songs. That has 5 songs maybe. So they're usually lumped in together. That has fuck. I'm gonna feel so dumb. That's like my favorite Alice in Chains album.
That one is?
Yeah, it
Really?
has. Oh my god. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up because this is gonna bother me because every single song I have saved, and I listen to them very often actually. Rotten Apple is the first song, which is amazing. Nutshell, second song.
Nutshell. that
I
is a
Stay
good
Away,
song.
third song. No Excuses, fourth song. Whale and Wasp, fifth song. Don't Follow, sixth. And Swing on This, 7. 7 straight songs of pure greatness.
I do not know any of those songs.
Yeah, I don't know Alice in Chains well enough. Like,
I
I've
really
listened through
think-
Dirt a handful of times, and I listened through that album that has Man in the Box on it. I've listened through that one. Facelift. Yeah.
Facelift has Bleed the Freak I like more than Man in the Box. Bleed the Freak on that album is probably one of my favorite Alice in Chains songs.
See, this is hard for me because actually both of these tier lists were hard for me
Well,
because
we're
I just don't
only-
listen to much of either of those.
Well, we're honestly picking out right now the ones that we know the most and we feel the most
Yeah.
passionate about. Like Alice in Chains is one of my favorite bands. I would say of musical acts, it goes Pink Floyd, Kanye, Alice in Chains. Those are my top.
Well,
3.
you can't deny the fucking talent that was in
Oh my
Alice in Chains.
God,
Lane
dude.
Staley could sing like a
Lane
motherfucker.
Staley, Jerry Cantrell.
But I can't lie, I'm gonna take Soundgarden over Alice in Chains any day,
I would fight that to my death.
just for the sole purpose of Chris Cornell.
I think the creativity of the lyrics and the music thematically for Alice in Chains far and away much better than Soundgarden.
It's a bit more. It's
I
definitely
will say
a bit
Chris
more,
Cornell was a better singer than Lane Staley.
Well, they're both fucking incredible.
They're both incredible, but there's something about Chris Cornell's voice that's
There's not a vocalist that I like better than Chris Cornell.
he was one of the greatest of all time.
But
So, just for my sake, I'm going to put Jar of Flies at S, and there's a couple songs on Sap that I do like, but it's my least favorite half of that combination there. Well, actually, you all haven't listened to it. Well, if you haven't listened to it, then I'm just going to keep it at S.
I don't have too much of an issue with that.
this Soundgarden album, we need to fact check just for fact checking's sake of what songs are on that.
I'd probably only put that one in like a B because
I think there are a couple really good songs on that one.
Rusty Cargo, Outshined.
Outshined is the big one off that album. That was their big hit off that.
Slaves
Well, see,
and
there's a better
Bulldozers.
Soundgarden album next to that Foo Fighters album, the one, the yellow one with their silhouettes on it. I can't remember the name of it, but it has like a
I don't remember what.
"Burden in My Head's" in that song in that album.
What do you think?
That's one of my favorite songs from them. I don't know a whole lot of other songs in that album.
You know what? I think we should make it to where only one S tier album per band.
Okay.
Not having multiple in S tier.
I think that's a good way to do it.
So,
Well, if we're doing only one per band, I'm pretty sure that Stone Temple Pilots album.
Core. I hope you're gonna say Core.
Yeah,
This one.
Core.
Core is 100% their best
Their
album.
best one.
Which you have a couple. Where the fuck is it? It's here. Yeah. What the fuck?
Well,
is that album
Vaseline's
called?
in that one, isn't it?
Yes, this is the album. With
But
Vaseline.
that's the only song from that album I can really
Oh,
think
it's
of.
Tripping on a Hole in a Paper Heart. That's on that album.
What?
That's on. Yeah, it's on this one.
No, I love that fucking song.
Oh.
I have that song saved on my phone.
Yeah,
but
it's
I was
off of
thinking,
this.
it was in that album.
No, it's not on that album. It's on the album with the chick with the swimming cap on her head. It's not this album.
There's only a handful.
It's this one. Wait,
It's the chick with I think the
You know
album is
what?
called "Tripping in a Hole in a Paper
I
Heart."
think what has me mixed up is I think the album that I have it saved on my phone was a great like a hits sort of thing.
Creed, can we put it a D? Are we okay with that?
I'm not gonna argue.
There's only
I
a-
don't give a shit about Creed.
There's only a handful of albums left. Now, I don't even say it. I wouldn't even say a full handful of albums.
Siamese Dream
That
is
Pearl
definitely
Jam album's right there. The album with Better Man's on it down there, and the Foo Fighters album.
But I don't think that's the best Pearl Jam album.
It's not.
Do they not have Black?
I don't know why that's the only one they have on here. Didn't they all come out?
Isn't it Black? Isn't that what their one? No, Jeremy. I think it's called Jeremy.
I thought that was on 5. Where it had everyone's hands up or whatever.
Yeah, is the album called 5?
I thought so.
I don't think it's
If I'm
called
if I'm
5.
wrong, I don't know where the hell I got that
I don't
from.
think it's called
but
5. But I think that is the best Pearl Jam album by far.
yeah, because it has a live
But
Jeremy.
since this is the only nope, it has
Oh, it's called 10, not
10.
5.
10.
I knew
Yeah.
it was a number.
That's not
You were
on
halfway
here.
there.
For some reason,
I was
that's not
halfway
on
there.
here. But Rearview Mirror by Pearl Jam, I think, is better than Vitalogy.
10 came out in 91. I don't know why
Yeah.
it's not in this list.
It's one of the oldest Pearl Jam albums.
Like I recognize at this point here of what we have left, I recognize Sublime, Foo Fighters.
That's the best Foo Fighters album.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at the second bottom row. I've seen that
Smashing Pumpkins
Nirvana.
album.
I've seen that Nirvana one before.
So let's start placing shit.
That
Fuck it.
Nirvana one, the
Blind
the
Melon.
wings, That's the In Utero one or whatever. That's the
In
one with Heart Shaped
Utero.
Box. And
I
a few
have
other
an
songs.
opinion of this Unplugged album that it is the best shit that Nirvana has.
Is it the one where it's just all acoustic? It's just like one show.
Yeah, it's all acoustic.
If it's the one I think it is, that is pretty nice.
That is like, and they have a bunch of covers in there of like the Meat Puppets and David Bowie and all kinds of shit.
I think that is the one.
I really feel like
thinking
that
of.
deserves S tier.
Yeah.
Foo Fighters, I don't remember the name of this album, but it's their second album and it is the best.
I thought that was their first album. Is that their
No,
second
the
album?
first album's called Big Gun, I think, and it was only Dave Grohl at that time.
I thought that one was still just Dave Grohl.
No. That was when he had formed the band.
Oh.
Facelift definitely gets an A. Alice in Chains self-titled is gonna get a B. Just because you all probably don't know it. There's one fucking phenomenal song on this Mad Season album. For you all that don't know, Mad Season was the band that Lane Staley was in before Alice in Chains. And they did one album.
That's interesting.
And it has 2 songs on it that are good. And then one of those 2 songs is like an iconic Lane Staley song. River of Deceit is what it's called. Also, another like in history,
Say Hello to Heaven on that album.
Best
is
Chris Cornell
fucking
song.
phenomenal.
Well, so do you know the mythos of that album and
like who all was in it? Who all was a part
not
of
only
Temple of the
who
Dog?
all was in it and why?
For the longest time, I thought Temple of the Dog was Chris Cornell with Pearl Jam. I didn't realize that it was actually Eddie Vedder with Soundgarden.
Soundgarden.
I had it mixed up because that was the only song from Temple of the Dog that I had known.
Yes.
Or that and Hunger Strike.
Hunger Strike.
Is Hunger Strike on that album?
Hunger Strike is
It
on that
is?
album. Call Me a Dog is also on that album. The reason that album was made, and I don't know the entire story, but you remember the band Mother Love Bone? None of their albums are on here. So the lead singer of Mother Love Bone OD'd, and they were all friends with him because he was Seattle. They were all Seattle guys.
Right.
So they made a tribute album. They got together, and I'm pretty sure there was another member of Pearl Jam in Temple of the Dog. Don't quote me. But they made one album. That was it. There was one collab album that was just in infamy forever. It's fantastic. That Sublime album, I only know
like
two songs.
I put it like an A or a B.
Because Wrong Way is on there, and then Santeria, obviously.
There's another big song that they have. I
Yeah,
can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Yeah, hold on.
Normally, I would stick with a B just because.
There's a third song on that album that you know, LT.
Let's call it a B. I mean, like,
Honestly,
I feel like ska bands like that are so.
it's kind of hard to like get really into ska bands.
Yeah.
To me, I mean, I have all the respect in the world, but you know. So what else?
No.
Silverchair. I only know one song, and it's okay. So I would say C.
I was gonna say we could just skip that one.
Tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't recognize
I know it
them.
though, so that's why I'm picking
What's the really big Blind Melon song?
No Rain.
All I can say is that my
That's a
life
good-ass
is
song.
very plain.
Because I remember
I
not
love
too
that
long ago you and
song.
I were talking about that album.
I love that song.
I'm gonna throw it in C.
Dewey's mom
B or C.
saw me
I'd
at,
say B.
Just 'cause that
that
one
song
song.
is so polarizing.
Dewey's mom saw me at Hogs one time, and she was like, "You need to sing this Blind Melon song." And it was that song. I don't remember the name of it. She was like, "You sound just like him," and I'm like,
No, you
"His
don't.
voice is so freaking high." Like I was like, "No, I don't."
Who else we still got? on here?
Bleach. I'm not the biggest fan of. Sorry,
I'm
Nirvana
not
fans.
gonna, I'm not gonna argue. You still got Melancholy. You got Smash
Melancholy
Cut-
is gonna be an
yeah.
S for me. Does anybody have any arguments?
No,
that's their best album in my opinion.
That's got some fucking bangers on it.
The Jerry Cantrell solo album you'll probably never heard. I'd give it a B. It's got some really good songs on it. Seven Mary 3. I saw that somewhere. Here it is. I want to give this an A so bad, but I shouldn't. I love it like an A, but its music is like a B.
It sounds familiar, but I'm having issues.
Cumbersome,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and then it's got Cumbersome, Water's Edge, and then My. which
I
are
don't. I
three
think I
bangers.
wouldn't put it anywhere above a B.
Mentally, I love it as much as an S, just because
Yeah.
like I know it's not the greatest music, but it's
Compared
so
to
good.
compared to these albums, though,
Candlebox has one song that may be my favorite grunge song ever on that album.
that Bush album's not bad either.
Bush album has Glycerine, which is a really good song.
There's another couple songs I know off that album. I can't.
Far
think
Behind on Candlebox's album may be my favorite grunge song of all time. I really think that beats out any single song of any grunge band I ever heard. And that's not a lot of people are going to agree with that. Audio Slave was right at the end of the grunge era.
that's the song. That's the album that has a Like a Stone.
Like
on it,
a
right?
Stone, I Am a Highway. There's a bunch of fucking songs on that. Cochise or Cochise.
I'm gonna have a lot of issues putting anything with Chris Cornell in it below B, but like
I think I'd give it a B.
I was gonna say I don't know enough songs from Audio Slave. I knew Chris Cornell a lot more from Soundgarden than Audio Slave.
I would give this a B just for Outshined. Why do they not have Super Unknown on here?
Why don't they have
crazy.
10? Why don't they have?
Yeah,
there was a lot
missing
of
a lot.
weird ones that they left out that they did.
Let
put
me
in.
see what the community ranks. I mean, we've
Because
pretty
they
much
put
gone through
another
a
Pearl
lot.
Jam album right there in the bottom left,
Yeah, Riri.
but they didn't put 10 in it.
I would say this is probably my second favorite, next to 10. Rearview Mirror
put
has
10 in it. Yeah.
Rearview
10's there.
Mirror has Yellow Ledbetter.
Oh really?
You know what? We'll just leave this be. I know a lot of these albums, but I don't feel like placing them.
It's a lot of them.
community ranks.
Community seems like a big Alice in Chains fan.
Alice in Chains and Nirvana. The only other ones other than Alice in Chains and Nirvana is Soundgarden. I really feel like that Foo Fighters album goes above and beyond.
Well, is this actually called is it supposed to be only grunge?
Grunge and 90s alt albums.
I feel like that's a little bit deceiving because they put like Sublime and they put Foo Fighters and they put
they were in the
Smashing
grunge
Pumpkins.
era though. Like ska
like,
really gets lumped into grunge a lot.
I guess it does, but like a handful of those, I wouldn't really consider Pearl Jam grunge.
I would.
Would you?
From their first couple albums, for sure. I mean, nowadays with since the late '90s, I would say they're getting more alt rockish, but. Like, those first 3 albums were grunge as fuck. Like, Jeremy, I'm pretty sure that was about somebody bullying some kid and that kid going and fucking beating the shit out of him or killing him afterwards. Jeremy spoke in class today. That was when he was fed up of being bullied and I don't remember if he beat the shit out of him or killed him.
Huh.
That shit's grunge,
I guess I just never considered Pearl Jam a grunge band. I would just consider them
grunge
just like
isn't
rock
even
band.
just the sound though. Like alt rock can sound like grunge. It's the theme that needs to be grunge.
I guess I consider grunge more like the actual musicality of the instruments and everything, like that heavy distortion.
There is a signature sound, but I feel like thematically is the big thing. Like it's not like heavy metal screaming, but it's like it's having a lot of passion behind some dark ass lyrics.
Yeah.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Literally any Alice in Chains song.
Yeah. Literally. What's that song? Plush. That's about the chick dying and like.
Yeah. When I first read the lyrics, I thought it was something completely different. Like I had a whole different spin on it, but that's the beauty of this kind of music, though.
Exactly. Like there's a deeper story of all of it.
You can have multiple stories that would fit with that.
Smashing Pumpkins is big. If you like story-driven music, especially Melancholy. Melancholy is a really good telling like a grunge-ass type of story in a song.
See, the Smashing Pumpkins are probably the biggest one on the list.
Man.
It's tough calling them.
Man.
Probably nobody's heard of Days in the New. They're not a bit. They're a one-hit wonder, man.
No. No.
I don't know.
I think that's good.
Like, don't get me wrong, I like them, but
We not doing the other list?
nah.
It'd take too much time to argue it. But
That one will take
if that's
a while.
something you all want to get into, let us know. Give us the skinny. I am so fucking happy that we are getting as much, not just exposure, that's, kind of cliche to say, but so much like fan support, so many people talking about the podcast. I still get texts randomly from people saying they really like the podcast, people I haven't talked to in years.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty cool. And I don't know what they find interesting in us.
It's just hanging out with the boys.
But I mean, it's a fun thing for you all to come out and just kind of chill with us and see us do our thing that we would be doing without microphones anyways. Yep. So, you can still donate if you like what we're doing and you want to support. There's multiple ways to donate. The biggest way is my Venmo at Papa Schmutz. That one will go directly to a podcast account that is specifically for that and specifically for making the podcast better for our viewers, you people. So it'd be much appreciated. We don't expect anything. We're doing this regardless. So, but anything will help. You get you a shout out if you want it. If you don't want the shout out, we'll not do it. But unless you tell us otherwise, we'll shout the fuck out of you. So
shout the fuck out of you.
We'll shout the fuck out of you. But a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. 10 is just it's just the beginning. But we hit double digits. So that's something to be proud of. You should pat yourselves on the back. I know I do. I feel really good about what we've done so far, and not just like what we've done for fun, but like the impact. It feels like it has had somewhat of a cultural impact locally. Like enough, not cultural, like changing the culture, but like enough to where people are turning their heads. Mm-hmm. Because I guarantee a lot of our viewers are probably local. All it tells me is country on our statistics. So,
Rural.
yeah, so it just says America. So that's a pretty broad range, but I would assume a lot is local. But regardless, any of it, thank you all. We really appreciate the views, donations, questions, especially the questions. Questions make it more fun.
Oh yeah.
Questions definitely make it.
That's like the easiest interaction.
Yeah.
It gives us an off the cuff topic that we have to talk about.
Yeah,
Like
I love it.
without any preparation at all. I mean, typically we come into these things without any preparation anyway. It's gotten to the point where we just talk.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've gotten pretty decent at it. They say around like 15 episodes is really when you hit your stride. I feel like we've already hit our stride.
Nobody
We only caught ourselves talking about something that we've already talked about one time.
Yeah.
And that is crazy to have. Now we have 20 hours of us talking on the internet and nothing has been walked over. Like, that is crazy. Yeah. So I feel like we're hitting our stride. So
We've almost
stick
had
with
a
us.
day's worth of podcasts out.
Yeah.
Just
It's
about.
very soon. And we're going to keep it rolling. It's going to start getting real hot with content here very soon. Now that the fall is showing up, we're going to have a lot of video games that I'm going to be reviewing, streaming, doing little clips and shit.
Clips and shit.
It's kind of dead in the gaming world right now if you don't like review or play or talk about games that have been released for a while. And usually if I talk about games that are huge, that they usually get killed in the fodder of how many videos online there are about it. So if you don't mind, come support the stream tonight. You all won't know that this is tonight, but I will. By the time you hear this, I will already be streaming on YouTube full time now rather than Twitch. So fuck Twitch. I would hope that you all come check out the stream. If you give me a follow, I have to answer any question, no matter how fucked up it is. Even if it's incriminating, I have to answer it. So, follow me.
So if you want
put me in jail.
If you want the deep shit on old Papa over here,
Got to come to the stream.
I might come to the stream just to make you say stuff on live.
Because if you ask me the question in the email, I don't have to answer that. But I have made a pact that if you follow me, just to follow, it's free. Really, it's a sub now. If you sub to me on YouTube while I'm live and you ask me a question in the chat, I will answer it no matter what it is. No matter what. Does not matter. It could ruin my life with the answer that it is. I'm answering it. Doesn't matter. I hold true to my word. I'm at Schmutz Gaming on YouTube. Papa Schmutz Live on Twitch is now dead. No need to even bring that up. If you want questions answered on the podcast, you can go to hashtag SchmutzCast on Twitter, or the easiest way, and the way most people do, is you go to the schmutzcollective.godaddysite.com. There's a section where you can ask the questions. It'll send it right to our SchmutzCast email that we all see. And send in your questions. We appreciate a sub, notification bell, whatever you all want to do. What do you got coming down the pipeline? Anything?
just be looking out for some new music. Been doing a little bit of writing here recently, trying to figure out where I want to take it, where I want to take my next adventure. And speaking of next adventures, there might be a new band coming about.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
I am the drummer.
Oh. Okay. Well, okay. New band, same band, whatever.
Well,
It's
not the same band.
How many bands have you two together been in?
3, 2, 3.
This new one, if we count the new one, that's starting. It would be number 3,
Okay, yeah.
and it'll be number 4 for me.
Regardless, is this a cover band we're looking at?
This one will
original
be more,
music.
This one will be more focused towards playing at bars, playing hits like covers of stuff. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So be looking out for that. And we will once we get a schedule or a notice on that, I'll if you let me know a couple days in advance, I can put it on our SchmutzCast Twitter and get it out.
And we're not only planning on trying to stay in this local area that we are. You know, we're gonna
Right,
we're gonna
yeah.
try to expand it out to however far we can travel
Okay.
to play.
Okay.
So
That sounds fun.
we might be coming to a city near
Be a
you.
little bit, it's more. This one will be a lot more towards the realm of
Getting in
we
front
just
of
want to
people.
go play. We just want to play, get paid for it.
Are you
have
still
some
working
fun.
on RB and GB?
Well, here's the thing with RB and GB. I think I'm completely out of the writing process on it now. I think I have 6 songs. I just gotta tweak them, and it's about done. I'm gonna release the first single at the end of this month, along with the video. Yeah, it's almost done now. I realized it the other day because I was kind of like thinking to myself. I was like, damn, I'm not gonna get this shit done by the end of the year. And then I finished a song the other day that I liked a lot, and I kind of like reevaluated my inventory after like cutting some ones that I didn't like, and then like pulling the ones that I did like back and remixing them a little bit. And I had 6 songs, and I was like, here we are. Like, I'm not as far behind as I thought I was. So yeah, it's still on schedule. It's gonna be the end of this year, and then I'm gonna drop the first song, Dark Room, at the end of this month, along with the video. So
SchmutzCast exclusive.
It is coming along. It is here. Here we are.
Gang, gang, gang. Be looking out for that. Hell yeah. Another SchmutzCast exclusive announcement. Wow, 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 wow. This has been episode 10. Thanks for sticking with us all the way through 10 episodes, and I hope you stick through for 10, 20, 30, 100, 40,000 more.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
That is.
I'll be honest. I don't know if I will physically be able
Come
to
on,
be
Morty.
here at episode
1,000 more
40,000.
seasons, Schmutzcast, Rick and Morty. Thanks. Appreciate y'all. This has been 10. I'm Papa Schmutz.
I'm Johnny Will.
I'm Jordan.
And thanks for sticking with us. See you next week. Peace.